Well, hello again. Fancy meeting you here. So we have another chance for some strong storms to move into the area, and we are tracking a pretty good cell that's actually headed right for Columbus as we speak. And so we thought we would just check in, let you know what's going on, and track this thing into Columbus. So big line of thunderstorms out there right now, goes all the way from here to Paducah and beyond. And so that is going to be with us for the next few hours. And some of this could even generate some pretty torrential rainfall, as well as we've had pictures. What were that? Were those 2-inch hailstones out of Xenia?
It looked like nickel size.
So
possibly, if you know what a nickel is.
So right, because who uses cash anymore? So meteorologist Jennifer Herbert is here. So somebody sent us a picture of a hailstone in their hand.
Not that big.
So the question is, was it somebody's big hands or small hands, or we don't? So. If you send us hail pictures, that's awesome. We love to see them, but give us some kind of perspective on how big it is. In any case, there is a cell that is just to the southwest of Columbus, and let me turn the lightning off here. There it is, so that you can see where we're going. So right here, this is the cell that has already generated what looks to be at least 1 inch, maybe even 1.5 inch size hail. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning now for this storm that is for 2-inch hail. And this storm is moving at about 50 miles an hour to the northeast, which is going to push it through parts of southern Madison County, south of London, and then eventually toward Columbus. Let me widen out here so you see where that is. So there we go. So this is the storm that we're watching. This little box right here is the thunderstorm warning for wind gusts of 50 plus miles an hour, plus the hail.
Weather Service is saying we could see 2-inch hail.
So that's the one, 2-inch hail.
Moving northeast at 45 miles per hour.
It is hauling.
Yeah.
So it is going to make it through here pretty quickly, and it's headed up toward Columbus. So that's why we're tracking this one right now. The severe thunderstorm warning only extends into the southwestern portions of Madison County right now, but that's close enough to the Columbus Metro that we're going to talk about it a little bit.
They're also saying, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good.
They're also saying cloud to ground lightning. So
Lots.
Get inside.
Here, let me show you the lightning. So look at all that lightning. It is just a light show out there right now. We've been hearing some thunder here in Columbus already. The other issue with this is that there is enough heavy rain, heavy rain, that this could end up being a flash flood issue. And so there is a flash flood warning, and that's the red box that you see here. Let me put a pointer on that. This red box, that's a flash flood warning, and that covers parts of Madison County and a little bit of northern Fayette County. You might see, as this storm continues to move to the northeast, they might extend that a little farther into this little bit of Pickaway County from Mount Sterling up into Commercial Point and Grove City in Franklin County. So it's coming. It's starting to happen out there right now, and this is going to continue for the next several hours. Let me widen this picture out so you can see more of how far this goes. This is a giant system. Look at this. All the way down through Arkansas. And what it's doing is it's dragging all kinds of moisture up this direction, right up through the mid-Mississippi River Valley and then up through parts of the lower Ohio Valley and into the middle of the state. So with all of this, we are still going to have to keep an eye on the potential for more flooding. And this isn't going to be just for today. Let me get past this real quick and move toward, this is what it looks like for the rest of the night tonight. So we start getting these strong storms that are moving through now, and then by 3 in the morning, still more of that happening. Oh, there's some pretty good thunder right there. Yeah. Did you hear that one? You may have heard that at your house. More of that thunder happening through almost 4 o'clock in the morning, but less chance that it's severe by then. What did they just extend? Did they move that? Sorry, it looked like they were updating the
part of it. It looks like they canceled the.
They canceled the part near Xenia.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is going to continue into early tomorrow morning. Sorry, some of this is a little stream of consciousness at the moment as we get some new information. But
that confirms 3 inches at Shawnee Lake.
3 inches of rain already happening. Here's why tomorrow is also a day worth watching. This is going to be another alert afternoon and evening, because between about, say, 4 and 10, the storms that begin to develop out there tomorrow afternoon and evening could also be strong to severe. And so there will be another opportunity for gusty winds, hail, and torrential downpours. Listen to the rain coming down now. That's not even the heaviest of it.
Hope the birds are okay up there.
We were looking at the osprey up on the tower a little while ago, and they're stuck out in the rain, obviously. Isolated severe storms are possible across most of central, eastern, northern, southern Ohio, pretty much the whole state. This is going to be an all-evening affair, but once we get to tomorrow, we're still not quite finished, because tomorrow afternoon and evening, we have this next batch that could also produce the same kind of conditions with flooding, hail, gusty winds that can do damage, isolated tornadoes. All of that is still a possibility, and we're also going to add a couple more inches of rain. We're already flooding across a lot of the state, but we're going to add a couple more inches of rain, and that's likely to create even more flooding issues. So on the map here, here's what we're seeing. The red that's right here, that is a flash flood warning, and that means there's enough that you may see some localized flooding that is in the streets, and it's going to take it a while to move out of not just urban areas, but out of rural areas as well. So you may have some local roads that are flooded because of the heavy rain. The lighter green, for example, here through Circleville, that is a flood warning because the river has come up so high. And that's happening for the Hocking River. It's happening for the river, the Muskingum. It's happening for the Little Miami and the Great Miami. It's happening all over the place. So there's been a lot of rain, and it continues to fall. So tonight, between now and say about 4 in the morning, gusts, downpours, hail, the potential for tornadoes.
3-inch hail, not 3 inches of rain.
We could still 3 inches of rain by Sunday.
That's
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But they were saying that storm they've got confirmed 3-inch hail coming out of that
Yeah.
storm.
This is big. This is a big deal. So then Saturday, this is an evening event. So between about, say, 4 and 10, you're looking at heavy rain, lightning, gusty winds, all of the things again. So this is going to be another issue for us. Let me back up and get back to the radar here, so that
For
we
sure,
see.
be careful on the roads. Hydroplaning is a real possibility the next couple of days.
That looks like they have extended that flash flood watch to
Yeah.
the border of Madison County. That may get extended. The severe thunderstorm warning is almost into London at this point. So that's going to be the next thing to watch. All right, let's get down on this particular cell. There it is. Coming through South Solon as we speak. That's the one that could potentially produce 3-inch hail. What is that? Is that baseball size? There are very specific names for, and it's the difference between quarter inch is.
It's yeah.
I do not have that graphic ready to go.
I'll find it.
But we're looking at roughly baseball-sized hail when you get to 3-inch 3-inch hail on that.
Come on.
South Charleston may be getting some of that hail as well. This is tracking toward 42 and up into London. Amanda says... Large apple, okay. Amanda says, not sure what I would rather have, rain or snow.
Snow!
So over the course of a few days, we're likely to get almost 5 inches of rain. That's 50 inches of snow. I'm not really sure that we want that, do we?
No one wants that.
No one wants 50 inches of snow.
I like snow. I don't like
That's a lot, though. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to stick on this for a little bit.
I'd like it maybe if I had a job I didn't have to go to.
Mike, that's an interesting point. Mike says he thinks it's too cool for bad storms. And that's actually fascinating because...
There's no such thing.
Right. As Jen said,
there's winter tornadoes.
Right. You can get severe storms
Snow-nados.
in any season at any time. What it needs is a mechanism to lift the air to create the storms. In the summer, it's easy because it's hot, it's humid, and warm, humid air wants to rise anyway. But the mechanism that creates thunder snow is the same thing. So when we get thunderstorms in the winter, even though it may only be 30 or 40 degrees, we still get that same mechanism where the air starts to rise. And if it's a little parcel of 34 degree air inside an area that's mainly 32 degree air, it's still going to rise. And so even when it's cold, you can get some really strong storms. We have a front out there right now that is creating that. You know what, Mark? Let's try that. Mark wants to slice through the storm. Let's do that. Here we go. We'll go right through here. And then let me get in here where I can adjust it. There you go. Look at that. That's why you've got big hail. That's a 40,000 foot storm. By God, that's a big storm. That's a big one.
Great
So yeah, there you go. That is what this one looks like when you slice into the middle of it. It is super tall out there. So there you see. So okay. So what we're looking at. So this would be the core in this. Some of this is going to be the hail. It's heavy rain and hail happening right there. So you've got the updraft that's going up this, and then the hail core. Some of that comes back down, then it gets caught into the updraft, and it goes up and down and up and down. And every time that little hailstone goes up and down in this storm, a little bit more water gets put on the outside, and it freezes to it. So it grows just a little bit. And it'll go up and down dozens of times until it finally gets so big that the updraft can't keep carrying it. You got to have like a 75, 80 mile per hour updraft to be able to carry something that's 3 inches, a 3-inch ball of ice back up there. So, Mike, that's possible. All right. So Mike said he was 60 degrees or better was a better chance of tornadoes, and that in a lot of cases is true. But quick reminder: we've had tornadoes every month of the year. So January, February, December can all still get tornadoes here in Ohio, and because of that, let me put this radar back to where it should be. There we go. Part of the reason we get more of those big tornadic storms in the summer is because it's easier. And the conditions exist more often where it's just warm, humid air that wants to rise, and so you get those giant storms that have the potential to create tornadoes. So yeah, if it's warmer than 60, yeah, you got a better chance. But the mechanisms can still happen even when it's chilly outside. And so that's part of what we've got going on right now. That cold front is shoving the air up, and it's mildish humid air, and so that's shoving it up and creating some of these big storms. So yeah, it's funny. There's a lot that goes into this. It's not just a single forcing mechanism. It takes what's above with the jet stream to pull some of that up. We forget what's called a jet streak, meaning there's a little portion of the jet stream that moves faster than others, faster than what's around it. What you get, Mother Nature abhors a vacuum, right? So what happens is that little bit of air moves faster. So something's got to move in there to take its place. And so to do that, it pulls from below. So if you get a jet streak up there where the air is moving a little faster, that's where you start to get the air coming up under that to fill in the gaps. So you start to see some of those big storms. Somebody just asked about London. Quick answer, Kyle. Any chance this cell goes tornadic? Can't rule it out. I mean, there are no indications of rotation right now, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't. So that's why we're keeping an eye on it. All right, they've extended now the severe thunderstorm warning into Franklin County. Let me show you that. There it is. So that's for the same storm, that big cell that we looked at in the cross section. That cell is now warned for parts of Franklin County. So that's going to be
storm report 1-inch hail.
So Galloway up into Lincoln Village, West Jeff, Hilliard, almost Plain City, all included in that severe thunderstorm warning right now. London is included in that. And so, John, yeah, it is.
Wow.
What'd you see?
We got some golf ball sized hail. We got a photo.
Golf ball sized hail where?
That was at, it looks like Shawnee Lake.
Shawnee Lake. So this is a big storm headed toward Franklin County. Let me put the radar. It's out west.
Yeah.
It's out west. So let's go here. We'll turn that lightning off.
Bigger than a golf ball.
So here's London. And that hail core is running right up 42. It's already been through South Charleston. It's headed up 42, and that is going to get in there in the next few minutes. So in London, you've got a couple minutes to go put the car in the garage
Yeah, I wish
before this gets in there.
it's like my biggest concern.
John wants to know, why did the National Weather Service not issue a severe thunderstorm watch for tonight? You know, a lot goes into that. And that usually comes out of the Storm Prediction Center, which is out in Norman, Oklahoma. And the local offices have input on that, but those decisions are made by SPC. The local office issues the warnings, and so Wilmington is on it. There's a warning for this one. They are paying very close attention to this, and so that's why they put out the warning on it. As far as why there wasn't a large-scale, broad watch, that's going to be a question for our friends out in Oklahoma at the Storm Prediction Center. They're the ones who issued those. Let me show you the wider picture on this. Look at that. So down here, this yellow, that's a tornado watch, and that covers a lot of this area along the Mississippi River Valley and the lower Ohio Valley. But right now, the only warning that we have in the area for thunderstorms is this one that is including Columbus. What's the time for the warning for Franklin County? Well, now, as we speak. That one is...
I'll tell you.
We'll do...
It's until 12:45 a.m. as of right now.
Is that not showing up here?
And
That's
now
weird.
the storm is moving at 55 miles per hour.
That should be showing up on this map. Why is that not showing up on this map?
It's probably under.
Yeah, but that thunderstorm warning should still be there. We may have to do a little bit of bookkeeping on our map when this is all over. Yeah, that's checked there. There's the watch. We'll put that on there just because. Interesting. All right. In any case, it's there. It's just not showing up on this particular map. Let me go to a different map so you can actually see where it is. Let's go here, for example. Or here. This has the warnings on it. Oh, you know what it is? Is that flood watch getting in the way? I wonder if that's what's happening. No, that's not showing up at all. That is weird. All right, we're going to have to reprogram the map to get that back in there. But the fact of the matter is there is a severe thunderstorm warning right now for parts of Franklin County, mainly on the west side of the county, for a storm that is on its way into the city. Let's put the radar back on there so you see what's going on. We'll put a little track on it. Let's go here. So there it is. This one, 55 miles an hour this way.
I just want to emphasize too, they are saying to seek shelter, including animals.
Yeah.
As this moves through.
Because the hail can be really dangerous.
Yes.
You get walloped in the head by a 2 or 3 inch hailstone, and yikes. West Jeff at about 12:29. Lincoln Village 12:36. Grove City 12:39. These are hauling really fast. So that's part of the reason why taking cover now is a good idea. It'll get into downtown by about quarter to 1. But it is coming. Here's a closer look. Let's get down on this one. So it's still south of 42. South of 42, but look at that hail core. Look at that. So that's what's about to get into London, and London is going to have to deal with some potentially large hail in the next 20 minutes or so. Here's the thing. If you're in London right now, take cover. Make sure that you're protected. When it goes by, when it's over, when it's a little safer, if you run outside and get pictures of those hailstones, chime in. Let us know. Golf ball size hail in Midway. So that's going to be right down here. So Scott's got golf ball size hail right here in Midway. So that came through a minute ago. Scott, if you go to abc6onyourside.com, or if you've got the ABC6 app, you can upload pictures to chime in. Show us what those hailstones look like. Hey, Stu. That's Mr. Stu. He produces the Edgy Noon Show and is on vacation.
I was about to say, he hasn't been here the last couple of days.
Mr. Stu's on vacation, which is awesome. Going out to safely shoot some pictures and video. Awesome. Chiming that in. Lancaster has some heavy rain. You know what? We're kind of focused on this cell right now, and it is on its way to the northeast. Real quick track on this. Here it is, headed this direction. That's going to get it into Lake Darby at 12:35. Parts of Grove City by about 12:41. UA at 12:45. So as it's headed in, you're likely to see it's holding on to that hail core. So that's going to be an issue for us. I'm going to zoom out here so that we can see what else is going on. What happens is we get focused on a single storm and we can actually get kind of myopic on that. So let's look at what else is going on. You've got some very heavy rain happening down through Fairfield County and Lancaster, some of that into the Hocking Hills and down into Chillicothe and Waverly. Heavy rain up through Delaware. Pataskala is getting some heavy rain right now. The good news is right now the only warned storm, are we crawling? We are. The only warned storm right now is this one, the one that's in London. So this heavy rain out here near Pataskala, the rain up in Delaware and up into Marion County, Waldo getting some heavy rain right there. Down 33 through Lancaster and into parts of Hocking County. It's heavy rain. You might get some small hail out of that. But for now, most of that is just it's just that. It's heavy rain. It's not showing signs of rotation. In fact, you know what? Let's do that real quick. Let's look at the velocity on this. So the goofy colors. So what we're looking at here is the things that are green are moving toward the radar. Red is moving away from the radar. And all of this red here is a good sign because it means it's all fairly unidirectional. So we're not looking at much in the way of rotation there, which is excellent. But what we do have is this thunderstorm warning right here that includes parts of the west side of Columbus and is for this storm right here around London. Oh, that's fascinating. That hail core just split in two.
Yeah.
London may have just dodged a bit of a hailstorm there. But in any case, this is still a powerful storm. You've got some hail moving across I-70. So cars out here on 40 and 70 dodging some hail out there. Cody, it's hard to tell with this particular radar how big that hail is, but wouldn't be surprised that some of that is quarter-sized at least, if not a little bigger than that. So this is going to continue to make its way to the northeast. Let me show you where the warning is. It's tough to see there's so many colors on radar right now. It's tough to see where it all is. So here we are. The red, including Jeffersonville, Mount Sterling, back into Xenia and Cedars Creek, that is all Caesar Creek. That's a flash flood warning, which means you've had so much rain, you could get some flash flooding out of that. So you might find ponding on 71 out here all the way down through Jeffersonville. You might have some of that a little farther up here. What is 62 runs through there, doesn't it? 62 runs down through that part of, it's a little farther this way, but from Mount Sterling down through parts of Fayette County, you might run into some of that high water there. So all of this, important to keep an eye on. And in the meantime, you've got this going on. So look at this, all the way through Pickaway County. So part of the Scioto River there is what we have for high water along the Scioto. Caitlin, that's what we were just talking about. This is the flash flood warning. So that's why there may be some high water on 71 and 62. You'll probably have some of that to deal with if you're going to be out tonight. Wow. All right. So we've got some big hail out there right now. Let's put the radar back on so you can see what's happening there. Look at that. Right through London. Right through the very middle of that thunderstorm warning. There it is. So this hail core, can you see this orange line? It's tough to see right here. This orange line is the edge of the thunderstorm warning. And it goes up in here into the west side of Columbus. So from a little bit of Dublin down in through Hilliard, West Jeff is in there, Galloway, part of Grove City, sort of urban crest there, down toward Harrisburg. All of that is going to get this very heavy rain. Look at that. That is some seriously heavy rain right there. Hang on, let me get in on that. This little rain core right here, south of 665. Let me put a query on that real quick. Where's the right tool? Here it is. Let's see what we get on this. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's try it this way. There it is. I think that's not right. That says it's less than 1/4 inch per hour. I think it's more than that. I think you're looking at a little more than that, because there's at least 3/4 inch per hour. That sounds more like it. That is some heavy rain. That is what's coming through Madison Lake right now. That is going to make its way across 665, up past Lily Chapel and into Georgesville Township. Francis, we're glad to have you. It's a fun way to spend a Friday night, isn't it? Partying with the radar. Woohoo! Good times. This is what we do. Let's cross-section that again, because let's go right through here. Oh, that's weakening a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I like the look of that. It's still almost 40,000 feet, but
that hail core isn't as high.
The hail core is not as big.
Wide.
So that's improving for us. That's good. James, so far, no tornado warnings on this. We're not seeing much in the way of rotation at the moment, so that's good news. But we have some exceedingly heavy rain with this, and we also have some pretty good hail happening there as well.
Photographic.
Malachi, I wouldn't say Pataskala is in the clear. I wouldn't call anybody in the clear right now.
Got photographic evidence of golf ball sized
golf ball size hail pictures from where?
Both are from Lake Shawnee Hills. So that's a little that's a little further to the west.
Yeah, that's Dayton. Yeah. Little lull in the action at the moment. That is a lot of lightning out there. I mean, that is some significant lightning. You're going to hear booming thunder out of all of that. Look at this. Meg, has this week been educational? That's awesome. If nothing else, we enjoy that. We'll do a little teaching. Katie says the lightning is crazy in West Jeff. I believe it. So, for anybody who's not familiar, there's West Jeff right there. A little bit of Madison County. Oops. Here I am drawing on the map. So here's a wider look. And you can see, oh, now the severe thunderstorm warning's showing up. There it is. Lots of lightning and thunder happening out there. Port William. Jennifer says major downpour there. You're getting some hail at the moment. Jennifer, when it's safe, don't go out there now, but when it's safe, send us some pictures. Let's see what it looks like. Teresa's in Grove City, here in the thunder right now. London's getting smacked, says Cheryl. Yeah, this is about to move into Franklin County. This is going to be some really heavy rain down in Galloway first. So there's Lincoln Village. There's 40. You see 270 there on the right on the right hand side. So here's 270. Here's 40. So Broad Street. Georgesville down here. Heavy rain out here in West Jeff with lots of lightning and thunder. And all of that is tracking to the northeast. So if we come out here, let me turn off the lightning so you can see it. And then we'll do a little trackety track. Boom, 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 this way. Next half hour or so. So Grove City, it's almost to you. In fact, it's coming through the west side of Grove City as we speak. It's just getting the first parts of that. Dublin's in line for this by about a quarter to 1. Yeah, Alan, you're right. Madison County's getting the brunt of this one right now. Nicole, what you've got in Pataskala is a separate storm, but it's still got some pretty good lightning and thunder with it. And London has had lots and lots of thunder and lightning, some hail. Jessica's got flooding in Hillsborough. You're not alone. There are a lot of places dealing with some flooding right now. Wind speeds with this storm, observed hail of 1 inch or more and wind speeds of 50 plus miles per hour. So this storm is fair hauling through the area. Let me get a little more detail on this. There's the outline of the storm there. The thunderstorm warning lasts until 12:45, and this is going to be quarter-sized hail, so that's 1 inch.
It looks like they're about to throw that into Columbus.
Are they going to push it a little farther east?
What it's looking like.
Okay. So while we're talking to you, we're also keeping track of a conversation with the National Weather Service, and sometimes they'll give us a heads up on what's coming. So it sounds like what they might do now is this thunderstorm warning that lasts until 12:45 for the west side of Columbus, parts of Madison County. They're going to extend that across into more of Franklin County. So we'll give that a few minutes and see how that comes through. Leanne, I'd give it a half hour. It's coming your way into northeast Columbus.
They have moved it down to quarter-size hail.
Okay.
I mean, that's still big hail.
That's still enough to do some damage.
Minor damage now, though, as opposed to major damage. I mean, if it destroys your car, that's pretty major.
Say you leave your car out there with quarter-inch hail, and you're gonna have to go get some body work done.
Yeah.
That's gonna be Why do these storms always happen at night? You know, this week, it has been that way, hasn't it, Angel? That's just kind of our luck of the draw this time around, where it's just been all these overnight events, which are kind of annoying.
We love it.
Do we? So, yeah, this is part of the deal.
We love it more when it happens during our shift, though.
Yeah, right. It's better when it happens like 9 to 5. We're good with that.
Yeah.
But we're still waiting for it to show up on the map. They haven't actually
It looks like they
issued yet.
Okay,
Did they just do it?
No, they haven't. It just looks like maybe they've extended it to 12:45 for where it's at right now.
Ah, okay.
I just didn't notice that parts of Columbus were already included in it. I'm kind of far away from the map.
Lori,
so.
this is going to end up. Obets is going to get some of this. Give it a half hour or so, but you're not in the core of it right now. So you're still going to get some of that in Obets.
Because it does say western.
Julie, no. Right now, there's no rotation showing up in it. So that's of all the things that are going on. That's fantastic. In fact, let's look at that real quick. Hang on. I'm old. I got to put my glasses back on. Here we are. The old eyes need to be able to see, right? So let's get into a velocity mode here. So there you see, that's actually pretty good for us. So what you're looking at here, and I know red is always scary, right? But in this case, because there's so much of it that's red, and we're not seeing red and green together in a problematic way. So let me widen out. You'll get a better sense of. So what we're looking at here. So this is the Wilmington radar, right? This is the National Weather Service W88D, the Weather Service radar. So what's green here, and this is different from regular mode. So normally you see the greens and the reds and the yellows and the oranges, and that's the rain and how hard it's coming down, right? What the rain is doing. This is what direction it's going. So green, all of this is headed toward the radar. Red is headed away from the radar. So toward and away. So if you think about it, this is just like, it's Doppler. When you hear a train go by, right? When it changes pitch, that's because of the Doppler effect, right? You're hearing the sound as it comes toward you, and then when it's going away from you, it has a slightly different pitch. And that's all part of how radar is using the same properties to figure out what direction are you ready for this? I'm going to use the big word. The hydrometeors are going. Raindrops. The hydrometeors are moving away or toward the radar. So that can tell us whether we have rotation in the storm. And at the moment, we're not looking at much in the way of rotation. So that is fantastic. But that's a big storm making its way into Columbus. Here's another look at the warnings. There they are. So this is the thunderstorm warning for parts of Madison County and into western Franklin County. The red down here is a flash flood warning, and that is because we've had so much rain. You're going to find some water ponding on the roads. The creeks and streams may be coming up very quickly. But right now, that thunderstorm, that's weakening. That's fantastic.
We just got a special weather statement from National Weather Service.
What's that say?
For Delaware counties and Franklin County.
Okay.
Strong. It's now saying strong thunderstorm. So it looks like once it moves past western Franklin County, it's continuing to weaken. We're now down to nickel-size hail.
Still enough to do damage.
Still enough. And it slowed down a bit, down to 45 miles per hour.
Alicia, did I say your name right, Alicia? Wants to know about Marietta. You've got bupkis. There you go. Marietta, Parkersburg, nada. Things are quiet there now. It's raining a little out toward Perry County and New Lex. You've got some good rain coming down 33 through parts of Hocking County. But now they've got a special weather statement for parts of Franklin and Delaware counties, as this storm right here continues to weaken. It's really dumping heavy rain, plenty of lightning and thunder to go with that. It's just about to make its way toward downtown right now. And that is going to be, that's going to be kind of dramatic as it gets in here. What time is it? It is almost, what is that, 43? Where's the clock? There it is, 42.
They're saying if they see it picking up again, they will issue a warning.
They will issue a warning if necessary. But that hail core is much smaller than it was just a little bit ago. So that is fantastic. That is good news. It's still moving at about 40 miles per hour, though. So this is going to head toward the northeast. Downtown Columbus at 52. Westerville at 58. Blacklick, 1 o'clock in the morning. New Albany, 103. So still tracking into the middle of the city. Annette says Westerville has thunder. No rain yet. Oh, just you wait. It's coming. We've got some really good thunder happening here at the ABC6 studios. Tina's got loud thunder in Licking County. Or as autocorrect changed it to Lincoln County, because autocorrect. You know how that goes.
They have a way with words.
Right? Big thunder in Delaware. Yep. So this is still making its way into parts of Franklin County. It's going to track across the county. That thunderstorm warning right there, this one, expires in a couple of minutes because the storm itself is weakening, but we will still have very heavy rain, lots of lightning. Look at this lightning. Look at all that. That's why it's just booming out there, because there's so much lightning. Marcy's getting that in Marysville.
Here, I think it's arriving over Grandview Heights right now. Is it?
Almost.
Yeah, it's
not the heavy stuff, but we've got some pretty good. We can hear it hitting the roof here.
Yeah.
But the big stuff is still out here on the west side. So Galloway's getting it in a big way right now. Strong winds. Johnson and Norton Road, yep, that makes sense. Timothy wants to know, what's the real detail of storms weakening over metropolitan areas? I mean...
Luck.
Yeah, it's really, to be honest, it's anecdotal and not scientific. The data doesn't support that. You know, the storms will move in over a metro area, just like they will over any other place. So, a lot of times it's funny. We have these memories of, oh, we had this storm or that storm. But when you actually go back and you look at the actual data of it, our memories are terrible.
Yeah.
It's really kind of disturbing in some cases how bad our memories are. Misty, why are you invisible? It's raining in Marion County. You don't have anything significant going on there right now. You're good. Lots of lightning and thunder happening here. Hollywood Casino. David, let me just tell you how much I appreciate that you're at the casino, but you're hanging out with us. That is awesome, dude. Thank you.
Hopefully we bring you some good luck.
Yep, we appreciate it. But yeah, right there at the casino, it is about to really come down. So, Preston says it looks like a rave over here because you've got so much lightning.
It looks like they let that expire.
So that, yeah, they've let it go. So, yeah, the thunderstorm warning for Franklin County has been allowed to expire. But,
Again,
John, I don't actually have that number.
still a strong thunderstorm.
We've had plenty of lightning come in, but I don't have the actual number handy on these maps.
But we can't do it in query.
Not easily. The query comes up with more about the rain and all of that. So we end up with, oh, it did it. When did we start doing that?
I said,
well done.
I snapped my finger.
Look at that. When did it start doing that? That's a new software update. Sweet. Hey, I learned something tonight.
I did it. I remember doing it in Tuscaloosa. But everybody's version of software is a little bit different, right?
The query usually comes up. This box is what we call a query. It's asking the map for data. So from almost downtown out to West Jeff, we've had 84 strikes in the last 10 minutes or so.
Some more just popped up on there.
Yeah. Sweet. I just learned something new. I love that. All right. Back to this. There it is. Very heavy rain coming across the west side. You know, so years ago, I'm about to tell a Jim Ganal story.
Aww.
Years ago, Jim used to talk about how he was looking forward to retiring because he wanted to be able to sit on the front porch and watch a thunderstorm come in. Because what happens is we're sitting in a room with no windows in what amounts to a concrete block basement.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, we're in a concrete basement.
And so for a weather nerd, what you really want to do is see the lightning, experience the rain, because that would have been a fantastic lightning strike right there. You know, and so that was one of the things that Jim was really looking forward to retirement, to just be able to enjoy a thunderstorm, not have the stress of having to be on TV and do all of that, just to be a weather person and just enjoy the storm. I get that. Arlen's in a semi truck. Arlen, I don't know where you are. So I don't know if you need to take shelter. If you're in Reynoldsburg, nope, you're good. But if you're somewhere else, take a look at your road conditions, and if you feel like shelter's a good idea, by all means, don't risk it. If it doesn't feel safe.
Driving. Texting. Typing.
If it doesn't feel safe, and yeah, that's a good point. Are you driving and texting and watching? Yikes. Yeah, Amanda, again, we don't really, that's kind of an anecdotal thing that the data doesn't really support that. And I give you the storm we have right now. I mean, we've got a very strong thunderstorm out there right now. It really comes down wherever it wants to. Arlen, if you're driving on the west side of Columbus, yeah, you might want to pull over and wait a few minutes. Maybe put down the phone for a little bit.
Maybe there's a passenger there with them.
Yeah, hopefully it's your passenger who's typing and watching with us right now. John just got auto-corrected. Apparently the autocorrect doesn't like Alkire, and it changes it to Alki Road.
Well, I also feel like we were talking about this earlier, some things are spelled a little funny.
So, yeah,
pronounced a little funny.
So Jen's still new to the area, and we're teaching her lots of the fun Ohio names that we have around here. Scioto, Wapakoneta, Russia, Manaway, Rio Grande.
Rio Grande, that one gets me every time.
On an off ramp on the side of the road.
Okay.
Nah, you're good. Give it 20, 30 minutes, and you can get back on the road. You'll be all set.
Yeah,
Arlen.
this is moving through.
This is
really
moving through pretty
quickly.
fast. It's going northeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So right now it's getting into downtown, or almost into downtown Columbus. We're about to get hit. So the ABC6 studios are right down here. We're about to get hammered by all of this. But this is headed off toward the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So going this way. That gets it into Gahanna by a little after 1 o'clock. New Albany at 1:07. UA is going to get this in a few minutes. Lenny says the lights are out on West Broad at Rome Hilliard.
Oh.
All right. Can you call upstairs and tell them that? We may need video of that.
Call
the assignment desk. Let them know that.
Okay.
Eric, it's on the screen right now. There you go.
Just call the main phone number. News tip line. I don't have that number programmed in my phone.
Send him an email.
Okay. I can do that. I can do.
Send him an email.
When I locked myself out of here, I had to go out in the little vestibule
And call.
and call to get someone to let me in the studio. Don't leave your key card.
There you go, John. That worked. Don't give in to autocorrect.
What do you say, Broad Hilliard?
Hilliard Rum. The lights are out. So we're tracking this storm as it comes through Franklin County, and some very heavy rain coming through the middle of the county right now. Look at that. Let me zoom in on that. That just re-strengthened. Look at that. That just re-strengthened right over UA. So torrential downpour happening there. Doesn't look like much of a hail core, but that is just absolutely... I was about to say something not TV friendly about how it's coming down.
Be careful.
So yeah, look at this. Just really, really pouring. Lightning and thunder. Let me put the lightning back on here. There it is. That's why you're hearing all of that booming thunder, because there's so much lightning with this storm. Let me zoom out a little bit and show you what else is going on out there. So a pretty good storm down here south of New Lex. That one's just south of New Straitsville. It's also moving to the northeast. Corning is going to get some very heavy rain. That'll move up toward McConnellsville in about the next 30 minutes or so. Here's a wide picture. Kenton over to Marion. Really heavy rain happening there.
Here it is.
Michael, some of what's happening there is there's a delay in some of the radar data. It is actually moving with the storm, but the radar display doesn't always keep up with the same speed. So that's why you might see that it... The radar is fascinating because part of what happens is it'll do 6 sweeps all the way around before it has all the data it needs. And it'll do it at different levels. So part of what you get is it'll do a sweep this way, a sweep this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. And each time it's looking at a different part of the atmosphere. So eventually that's how we get those 3D pictures of the atmosphere. So it does a sweep this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. And each time, wow, that's coming down. Each time it uses that data to create that 3D look, or that 3D slice of the atmosphere, so that we can see a little more of what's in there. So right now, boy, that is some heavy rain right down on Dublin Road. So from that's going to be like Lane Avenue right there. Coming across Tremont Road. Yeah, there it is. So here's Lane, and here's where it meets 33. Comes up here past the golf course, and then over to 315. So this is that really heavy rain that's coming down for part of the city right now.
Oh, what was this?
Jen just gasped. I think she found something.
This was just after midnight. So it's looks like an overturned tractor trailer.
Where's that?
Olentangy River Road at 3rd Avenue.
Definitely send that upstairs.
No, someone sent it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just checking what people have sent to us.
Okay.
So.
All right. All right. So the good news in all of this is that so far we're not seeing any rotation in any of this. And that is awesome news.
Nick is headed out towards that power outage.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. We have a staff in tonight to keep track of these storms, and so Jen and I are here in the Weather Center tracking radar and keeping an eye on what's coming in from the National Weather Service. And we've got a team in the newsroom that is also keeping track of things, and I assume that's Veland they're sending out, not Nick Bona.
Yes. Nick is Veland is out and about right now.
Is he in Mobile Track?
Yeah, I think
so. Nick Veland is in Mobile Track right now, which is able to get around the city pretty quickly. So they're going to go get video of some power outages and I guess we've already got pictures of the overturned truck, so I guess we're okay on that.
Yeah.
Boy, that is some gusty wind. So do they have wind reports on chat?
Haven't seen any wind reports.
Hi, Nicole.
Getting a new storm report.
Nicole says hello from the newsroom. So we're sending reporters out to keep track of things. We've got an eye on it down here in the Weather Center. We got you covered. We're going to be here through a lot of the night tonight. Sarah Converse is in first thing in the morning because Good Day Columbus will have all kinds of coverage in the morning, depending on how things go tonight. But we'll have updates on that. Let me widen out this picture a little bit so you can see more of what's happening here. Look at this. So the hail core has redeveloped. Do you see that? Right here. So as it came through UA, right, this is 33 right here. So this part of the storm has redeveloped a hail core, and that is likely to give us, look at that, 1.5 inches of rain per hour. That is some seriously heavy rain happening there. So that's going to be important.
The airport, as of 12:51, reported 12 mile per hour wind.
John Glenn?
Yeah.
So
but that was a little.
This is actually, and so, all right, here's a fascinating situation. So take a look at the map. Let me widen out a little bit more. All right, so you can see this is 161 right here and 315. So Don Scott Airport is right out here. And it's going to get all kinds of rain out of this. Like seriously heavy rain, might even get some hail out of that at Don Scott Field up in this part of town. Bolton Field out here on the west side is also likely to get some very heavy rain recorded. But John Glenn is right out here and is going to get pretty much bupkis. So what we're going to end up with is what goes into the official record keeping is what's at John Glenn. And so those numbers may not be as high as look at Bolton and OSU and see what those say.
Yeah, we'll look at OSU.
Because the OSU airport, Bolton Field probably just got a significant downpour a little bit ago. It's might be too early for it to show up there.
We might have to wait like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it might be too early for it to show up. But heavy rain and now some more hail because that has re-strengthened. So some hail moving through part of the area. There's Calumet School, so that's going to be, there's Weber Road right here. Here's Weber Road. Heavy, heavy rain coming across. This would be
30 mile per
23.
hour gust at Bolton. That was about 6 minutes ago.
How fast?
30 mile per hour.
30
gust.
mile per hour wind gusts. So here's this really heavy rain. So 71 right here. This is right at North Broadway. So North Broadway crossing 71 right here. Weber Road here. And that really heavy rain. And now some hail showing up. So from Maze Road and over toward North Broadway, you've got this torrential downpour. And that's, so you've got what, Indianola is right there. Cook and Indianola, right along 71, 23 going north. So Morse Road is up here. Here's Morse Road at 71. And that big old hail core coming right through the middle of town right there. So it's just north. Hudson's here. So this is historic Crew Stadium down here. So here's Hudson. And then up 71. So Cook and Indianola, Maze Road, Morse Road, all getting that really heavy rain right now and the potential for some significant hail. That is headed toward Westerville. So it's going to go this way. Let me put a different track on it. Let's go. Here's that hail core. We'll go this way on it. Minerva Park at 1 o'clock. So where are we? We're just, it's in your neighborhood now. Westerville, 106. Walnut Springs Middle. You got hail in Worthington. Yep, that makes sense. That jives with what we're seeing on radar right now. So this is that hail core. So here's 315. So you're getting some of that 161 and 315. Yeah, you probably got a little hail there. That makes sense. This is headed up into Sharon Township.
This is interesting. The Ohio State University Airport only does a reading every hour.
The sub-hourlies, you have to go to a different source.
All I gotta say is holy shit.
We're live.
Oh!
Sarah's very excited.
It happened.
Sarah's very excited.
We already
I
know.
have done.
It's
okay. Nobody warned you. It's okay. It's all good.
Oh my gosh,
It's all
I'm
good.
so sorry.
We've all said worse on Facebook. Let me tell you. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, oh, I feel so bad now.
No, don't. It's all good.
I rarely.
We have spent the last several
my
days
God.
trying to keep Sarah
Out of the
Converse
building.
out of the building so she can just enjoy some thunderstorms, right? Just enjoy it. You don't have to work it. Just enjoy it, because now you got to work it.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
No, don't.
Oh my God.
That's part of being very excited about a storm.
It was so bad.
It's so
I
okay.
can't believe you just drove here through that.
Well, I thought I could miss it. No.
No,
Oh, that
So-
was probably the worst I have ever driven in. It was,
and that's from somebody from Florida.
I mean, that was bad.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if there was dents on my car.
Oh. Heavy rain headed up into Minerva Park right now. It's going to get into Westerville in a few minutes. So,
Holy.
how was your drive?
It was rough. It was, and we got to like, I was getting on, where did it get really bad? It got bad right past Cemetery Road. I was right there on 270.
Annette says, that is so funny, but true, Sarah. See, they know you. They know you.
Oh, guys, it was, and I'm not kidding y'all, it was like in an instant.
Yeah.
And it
No,
was,
this cell.
I could not see the lines. I could not see anything. I was just relying on the car that was in front of me, and thank goodness it did not have his hazards on. There was a lot of people that had hazards on.
So, okay, that's a good point, actually. And Sarah's right. So here's the deal. Your hazard lights, and our friends at the Ohio State Highway Patrol will tell you the same thing. Your hazard lights are for when you're in trouble, not just because you've slowed down.
No.
You have tail lights that tell people you have slowed down. Even when you're not stepping on the brake, your tail lights are still, which is why you're supposed to have your lights on when it's raining.
Yes.
Because that turns your tail lights on so that people can see where you are. When you turn your hazard lights on, it sends what the highway patrol would call a mixed signal, because it means I'm in trouble, I need help. And it's mainly for when you're pulled off to the side of the road and you're having an emergency. But unfortunately, somewhere along the line, somehow we started turning them on when we go 10 miles under the speed limit. And I don't know how that started, but
And another thing it does, you can't use your turn signals.
also true.
I had a
Also
truck,
true.
As I was coming in, and he kept going back in between lanes, and I had no idea he was turning.
Yep.
And the only reason I was okay was because one, I kept a safe distance behind him, and because he had his hazards on. Because I had no idea if he was going to turn in this lane or turn in that lane, but he did it twice on me, and I had no idea what lane when he was going to turn.
There you go, Carrie. Newark's quiet. You've got some rain. You're good. Everything's quiet. No, you're fine. You're fine.
I just
All
couldn't
good.
believe it. I was like
Look at this heavy rain from Marion.
gripping the wheel. I mean, I was, 210, just like on that steering wheel. It just was an instant, no visibility at all.
It is coming down in buckets.
And then
So look at all this lightning happening. Let me turn that lightning off so you can see the actual storm. We've still got a hail core that's just about to move into the northeastern corner of Franklin County. Look at this, just getting into Westerville, a little bit of Minerva Park. It's coming across 161 as we speak. So that's going to be some exceedingly heavy rain. That'll get into New Albany in just a couple of minutes. It's just barely to your west right now. You get up here into Delaware County. So you're looking at, this is 71, so this is the Polaris area right here. So 750 comes across here-ish, right into Powell. So all of this is moving toward 36, which is this way. And that is 36, 37. That is going to affect a lot of southern Delaware County. But we've had 2-inch hail already.
oh wow,
Yeah. And this storm was warned for 3-inch hail.
originally,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
So
I mean, whatever hail core I accidentally drove through, I mean, it was. I couldn't see how big it was just because it was coming down so fast.
right.
But I know it was definitely larger than pea size because it was hitting my car pretty well,
Really hard.
really hard. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised if I maybe see a small dent somewhere on my top of my car,
Yikes.
which I'll probably see. Which I mean just adds to the aesthetic of.
It's character. Absolutely.
It adds character to my old car. So.
Adds character.
Because if any viewers who watch my page know, and I brought my car in through a car wash one day, and the T came off of my Sonata, so now I call it a Sonata.
Sanaa.
It's not a Sonata
Because the
anymore.
T
T's
fell
gone.
off.
So it just adds to its character.
So, tracking these storms as they come through the metro area. Right now, they are headed off toward the northeast. Let me put an actual track on this. Let's get a little closer down here. We'll look at this hail core right here and see what direction it's going. It's going to go from here this way, headed up toward Johnstown. So that's going to put it through Westerville or into West. It's in Westerville now. So there's that. Bevelheimer Park. I've never been there. 118. Alcott Elementary, which is different from Abbott Elementary, but only slightly. I'm kidding. So here we are. This is going to make its way into parts of southeastern Delaware County in the next few minutes. A little bit of northwestern Licking County, so you might see that. Looks like it's probably going to slide to the west and northwest of Johnstown. But Michael had dime-sized hail up at Carl and Morse. But these are some pretty significant storms. Let me show you where the actual warnings are at this point.
They still have it looks like there's a flash flood warning.
So that's the one for Madison and Fayette counties?
Yeah, and then everything else, the flash flood warning goes back into Indiana, but the next severe thunderstorm, and it's a watch, it doesn't look like there's any warnings right now, go into southern Indiana, southern Illinois.
Everything you see in red here, all of this is flash flood warnings. So what that means is that you've had enough rain during this storm to create flooding, at least locally, if not across a large area. So that's over and above what we call aerial flooding, which is area-wide, right? That's happening in other places. And so the amount of flash flooding that's happening in southern Illinois and Indiana. Oh, Hart, sorry.
Sorry, I'm trying to
No, it's all good.
I'm trying to get makeup on.
It's all good.
All I did was my hair, and then I was like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna have to go.
Do it when I get there.
Yeah.
We're happy you're in the building.
Yep. You're here. You're safe. You've got some time.
Yeah.
You're good.
But wow, that was a. Would never recommend that journey. That was
quite a ride.
Quite
a ride. All right, back to the Columbus metro area. Back into radar. Here we go. There's that hail core. Lots of lightning to go with it. Let me tip this up this way. It's tipped down pretty far. So the north side of Columbus on up into Delaware County getting the heaviest of this right now. But awesome news is that right now none of this is rotating.
And everything is quiet.
On chat.
Not outside, but on chat.
So what Jen's looking at right now is a direct feed to the National Weather Service. So we actually can chat with them. It's remember AOL? It's kind of like a chat room, right?
It's exactly what
it's actually Slack, but it's like an AOL chat room.
Step above AOL.
Just barely. But we can actually ask them questions, or they'll send information and that kind of thing. So we actually have a direct line to be able to talk to them. Bev, Johnstown is in Licking County, northwest Licking County. So you can see it on the map on the left-hand side of your screen. There is 62 running right through it, and then that goes up into Utica. So we're communicating with the National Weather Service on a regular basis that way. Can I undo my tie a little bit?
Relax.
I mean, kind of had it with this tie tonight. So yeah. Here we are.
Here we are. Now we're babysitting.
So we call it babysitting radar because we're just sort of waiting to see if anything untoward happens. Esteban has Texas-sized hail.
That's big hail.
That's some pretty big hail. Let's widen the radar out a little bit so you see where Columbus is right
there. I wish
there.
you could have seen actually what size the hail was when I was driving through, but I was like, I'm not stopping.
You were probably seeing
you don't stop.
maybe by the time it got to Dublin, it was.
Well, I was more closer in a hill.
You were closer here, so probably nickel to quarter.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense because it was definitely not pea size. That thing, it was making noise.
Quarter-sized hail is 1 inch hail. That's going to do some damage.
So we'll see. Maybe this morning when I leave here that I might.
So Lori says there is a barn fire in Johnstown.
Oh, wow.
Is that what we're talking about? Okay. Lori, do we think that was from lightning?
I mean, there was a lot of lightning when I was out there.
Brenda, is that what you're looking at 6140 Lock Road? Can you send that to the newsroom and have them check on it?
Where is it?
So 6140 Lock Road. Nicole, are you still listening? 6140 Lock Road is what Brenda says.
Where is that?
And Johnstown, Licking County. It's entirely possible that there could have been a lightning strike on a barn that caused a fire. That's entirely possible. We will ask our newsroom to double check what's going on out there. Nicole, we're sending you an address and
the deets.
There we go. Oh, Chrissy's in. Hi, Chrissy.
I just sent it.
Licking County, 6140 Lock Road. Yep, that's it. The question right now is whether that was a lightning-induced fire. So here's this really heavy rain, plenty of lightning and thunder coming through New Albany, headed up toward Johnstown right now. So Intel Central is about to get a whole lot of...
We do have a visual on that power outage in Lincoln Village.
Okay, so Nick Veland is out there. Mm-hmm. So we've got Nick Veland out on the road in mobile track, and he's got eyes on the power outage. Is that Hilliard Rome Road, did you say?
Yeah, about there. Lincoln Village, Galloway.
Lincoln Village, Galloway,
West
yep.
Broad, near Hilliard Road. Man, I butchered the spelling of all of that.
William wants to know any possible tornadoes. And right now, the good news is that we're not seeing any rotation in these storms. It is just some torrential rain, some very prominent lightning with the booming thunder to go with it, and some pretty good hail that's out there right now. So New Albany is on the back edge of the heaviest rain, and this is moving across the border from Franklin County and Delaware County into Licking County. So Johnstown at 62 and 37 is just about to get some very heavy rain. The hail core itself is just about to move across 37, right where it crosses the Licking Delaware County line, so between Johnstown and Sunbury. And as it heads off to the northeast at about 40 to 60 miles per hour, that is going to push it up 62 toward Utica in about the next 20 minutes or so. So let's put a track on that real quick so you can see where some of this really heavy rain is headed. That's going this way. So it's into Utica by a little after 1:30. So you got about 10 minutes or so to get the car in the garage. Gambier at 1:39, Danville at 1:50. So yeah, it's coming your way. It's kind of tracking at this point the direction that 62 goes in that part of the state is a little bit different from the direction it goes when it's coming through Grove City. It's a little more northeast southwest coming through Licking and Knox counties, but it's on its way. Tina's got some really loud thunder with the lightning. And there it all is. Marysville's got some heavy rain, lots of booming thunder, and lots of lightning. Maddie, I wouldn't say that New Albany is in the clear. You know, the heaviest rain is moving to your northeast, but we're not done yet. This is going to go on through more of the night. So this is not done yet. Chrissy's checking on the barn fire. So Carrie, yeah, there could be more storms after this. Let me show you why. So you see what's out here? All right, so at the risk of becoming myopic, there we are again. So this is why we have to widen out every once in a while and see what else is out there. So big storms coming through London right now. Again, you just had that big hailstorm, what, an hour ago? 45 minutes ago? That is now moving to the northeast, but London has a new storm, and there's plenty more out to the west. So you see what's down here by Cincinnati. Let me widen out a little more. A lot of what's out here. Oh, brand new thunderstorm warning. Let me get in here on that. That is going to cover parts of Muskingum, Noble, and Guernsey counties. Deep breath. You got this.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
1 inch hail, 60 mile per hour wind.
Here's what that looks like.
So quarter-sized hail.
Quarter-size hail.
And that's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour.
So this is going to be in southeastern Muskingum County on up into parts of Guernsey County, a little bit of Noble County. So this is going to be moving, what do we say, 60 miles an hour?
No, 40 miles per hour.
40 miles
with
an hour.
60 mile per hour wind gusts.
Woof! All right, so 60 mile per hour gusts with the storm that's in this area. So from Philo and Rich Hill on up into Senecaville, it'll be headed into Cambridge shortly after that. So tracking this, right now it's the one that's down here near McConnellsville. So it's this storm here that's headed toward the northeast and running in there to the northeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So it's into Byesville by 145, Senecaville by 146. You've got some time to prepare. Cedar Run is next. That's going to be in southeastern Muskingum County. Rich Hill by 1134. Hang on, quick update. Chrissy has talked to, I'm going to guess that's the sheriff's office. The fire in Licking County on Lock Road is out. It was not a barn fire.
Okay.
And is contained. So that's good news. That's why we check on these things.
Right.
So it's, we have lots of ways to get information, but then you have to check it and see what's happening. So the good news is that it is contained, and I'm not sure that the fire is out necessarily, but it's contained. So a severe thunderstorm warning until 2 o'clock in the morning for parts of Muskingum, Guernsey, and Noble counties. And you can see near McConnellsville right now, there's this hail core. I mean, that is a lot of hail showing up right there. So let's take a look at that real quick. McConnellsville getting a lot of that. Headed up into the Area 31 campsite. That sounds like fun. Area 31. Okay.
A campsite.
Hannah, right now, it doesn't sound like there's a big tornado threat. We're not seeing many signs of rotation, so that's really good news for us. At the same time, I would say never say never. It's important to stay weather aware just because these storms can misbehave. And even though in one moment they look like everything's hunky-dory, next thing you know, we've got ourselves some...
We should have an update and about another update from the Storm Prediction Center in a little over 30 minutes.
What are they
It
suggesting?
just says the next
Is there a
update.
map on that mezzo? Or this is the 2:30 update.
This is the.
Oh, gotcha.
It looks like they're going to do it at 2.
Okay. Well, it's already. Oh, it's 1:30.
So
I'm getting ahead of myself. I just think it's 2:30 in the morning.
it all runs together.
It's all running together.
Let me look at that.
Look at the lightning with this. That's just amazing. When will it stop raining? Lori, it's probably going to be like Labor Day.
We have some drier days.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah.
That'll be good.
The 8 to 14 day outlook suggests drier than average conditions, which means we'll finally be able to mow. So there's that.
If you can get through the swamp. In your yard.
If you can get through the swamp that used to be my yard, we'll be able to mow. Johnstown with some really heavy rain happening right now. Look at this brand new cell that's just popped up at 270 and 23. That's Grove City right there. So you're north of 665. Here's 665. Here's 23. So the casino's right out here. And this is 104 where it crosses 270. So this is going to get into parts of Obetz and the south side of Columbus here in the next few minutes. 104 takes that turn. So you come up here toward Frank Road, right here at 71, and it takes the turn to go east over here to 33. So that's all heading into the south side of Columbus and a little bit of Obetz. And that is going to give you some very heavy rain for the next few minutes. Lori wants to know if we're done with snow.
Funny you should mention that.
So So
It's not impactful snow.
all right, let's walk through this. So here's the deal. Sunday we're going to be much cooler, and especially north of Columbus, you may see some of Sunday's liquid precipitation eventually become non-liquid. I don't think it's going to accumulate because the ground has warmed up and it's really, really wet. So as those snowflakes hit that warm, wet ground, they're going to melt pretty fast. We do have a couple of nights coming that are going to drop into the 20s. But by then the rain has stopped. So I don't think you're going to get accumulation out of that. But Sunday night, and possibly even... So I don't know if you've looked at anything yet, but on Monday...
Like early Monday morning?
Monday afternoon.
Oh, okay. I
Monday,
saw like Sunday night and a Monday morning.
So here's what's fascinating about Monday. So some of the models are suggesting that we might end up with some
don't say it.
some
It's gonna be flurries.
some non-liquid. Oh, this shows more than that.
Oh no.
This is
I
going to be
haven't even looked at it.
some
I've been
non
so focused on this.
some non-liquid precipitation
I'm looking it up right now.
during the day. But the catch to that is that the temperatures are in the 50s.
Oh,
So that means the air above
it's
us
super cold.
is really cold, and so not far above the surface where we're at the 50s, not far above, it's really cold, and it's cold enough for it to be frozen. So that means that it might not completely melt by the time it gets to the ground. So good times Sunday and Monday.
Hey, we're in the Midwest. What do you expect?
This is the way it happens. Let me put this whole map into motion.
It's like the Big Brother house. Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. I'm going to widen this out a little bit. We're going to put this in motion so you can see. Let's just do the last hour.
Okay.
Look how fast that stuff is
I
moving.
see what you're saying.
You see that?
I'm
It's not a lot.
I'm not impressed.
It's not a lot. I'll tell you what, though. It's enough that we get to count it. Pamela, I agree. That's why I've been avoiding saying the S word.
I mean, long range.
I'm calling it
models-
non-liquid precipitation because I don't want to say the S word.
Long range is showing a little wintry.
Kinsey, right now Buckeye Lake's getting a bit of a break, but you'll get some more rain later. Say again.
If we go out.
Oh, don't.
But we're not. Yeah.
Don't.
We don't rely on that.
Just don't.
We just. It's doesn't look impressive.
Here's where we are Forsythia wise right now. I'm willing to say we've had 2 so far. At least 1, maybe 2. And that what we get Sunday and Monday counts, and we're done.
But I couldn't remember the seed that you said.
The Forsythia?
The forsythia.
It's a bush.
And let me tell. Oh, it's a bush.
It's a bush. It's a big
When the
yellow
bush
flowering
blooms.
bush. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I know. I was like, no. Marshall was saying that once
Yep.
this thing happens, like.
So when the
blooms,
Forsythia blooms
there's how
in
many
central
more?
Ohio, 3 snows.
3 snows.
Yeah. So the Forsythia have been in bloom for a couple of weeks now.
Have we had a snow?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like our memories just don't go back for an hour ago.
Yeah.
The word that shall not be mentioned.
the precipitation that shall not be named. Where else in Ohio can you have 4 seasons in 1 week? John, you
Yeah.
are so right. You are so right. Lori says we should be able to count the hail.
Oh,
You know what's interesting is in the
Like how much?
in the climate reports. So in the climate reports, when you see snow in July, there'll be a snow reading. It was hail.
Because it's frozen.
Because it's frozen precipitation. So it gets counted in the snow column. So if you look at the climatology records and you see there was some snow in July and it was 90 degrees, that's legit. But the hail goes in the snow column because it was frozen.
Okay, Okay, so that's valid until 1:30. So that expired.
Was that the watch for?
That was the mesoscale discussion for the area just south of us.
Okay, so that one's done.
And it doesn't seem that a new one has been put out since then.
So let me look at this. Let's look at this Johnstown storm right now. Well, okay, Aaron. We're in. Let's do it. So let me stop the animation here. Let's go back to right now. Let's get to, this is that Johnstown storm. So Johnstown with some pretty significant hail happening now. That's headed up 62 into Utica. Utica heads up. You've got about 10, 15 minutes or less, and you're going to have that very heavy rain and the hail core coming down where you are. And here's Knox County and Mount Vernon. So what's coming up 62 is going to go through Utica and then end up out here in southeastern Knox County. You might see some of this make its way up into Mount Vernon, but it might end up going just shy of you. But look at the heavy rain right now in Marysville. Unionville Center down into Plain City. Look at that. That's a lot of rain. Here's what was in London a few minutes ago, coming into Hilliard. Lisa Marie, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to look up where that is. That's a new name for me. I don't think I've seen that one before. Hang on. Nah, we're not going to do it on this machine. New thunderstorm warning for Morgan County. That's this one. So that's the McConnellsville area. That's the same one. That's the one that we had before.
Okay, we got just a local precipitation measure.
What you got?
Over an inch, just an inch and a tenth of rain just north of Ohio State campus since midnight.
Wow. So what, inch and a tenth, inch and a quarter?
Inch and less than an inch and a quarter, but yeah, about a little more than an inch.
So
and if you want me to be specific, 1.17.
1.17 inches since midnight at the OSU airport.
So in the last hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Inch and a quarter. That's a lot of rain. Quarter-sized hail in Westerville. Thanks, Jenna. Pamela's got more thunder again. I got to tell you, I'm really thrilled that I'm going to put this velocity reading on again just to see. I like the look of that. These edges are a little ragged, but other than that, that actually looks pretty good. Sweet. Here are the current warnings that are out there at the moment. The only severe thunderstorm warning that's left right now is this one that's out here, parts of Muskingum, Guernsey, and Noble counties. That one runs until 2 o'clock. And that's because there's a pretty big storm making its way through parts of Muskingum County.
Some water or anything?
Actually, is there anything left in that blizzard cup right there?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
I went to DQ.
Yeah, I know.
I went to DQ. La, la, la.
You've been talking for a while.
Yeah, right.
When did you start the live stream?
Don't ask time.
Like
Don't
5
ask
o'clock
about
today.
You've been running a marathon.
Yeah,
Well, we went on when we saw that
the warning.
that warning.
So that was like 11:45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ish.
Okay.
Dawn, no, you're right. This is not as bad as Wednesday because we don't have any rotation, which is awesome. Tyler wants to know what's the purple color. Heavy rain? I'm not sure where you're seeing the purple. Let's go. Was it part of this storm? Oh, right here?
When it lights up.
So yeah, so when the sweep comes by, look at that hail core.
If you slice it, you can probably see the purple.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Doink. Whoops. There's some purple. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. There it is. I'll be honest, that's not nearly as impressive as what we saw earlier.
No, how high is that one?
That's like 15.
That's about half the size.
It's about 15,000 feet.
This is just a baby. No, I'm kidding.
It's a little baby storm.
I'm kidding. I kid.
But I kid.
This is a big thunderstorm.
This is still a big thunderstorm. It's worthy of a severe thunderstorm
Yes.
warning. But compared to the 40,000 foot tops we saw a little while ago, yeah, it was big.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
big.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, planes fly at 30,000 feet. So this was, higher than most planes fly.
They would have had to have changed their elevation to fly over the storm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But this
Your
one,
ears
this
would
is
have
about
popped.
a 15,000 foot hail core showing up in this one. This is the one for Guernsey, Muskingum, and Noble counties. So that's still impressive. So there we are. Let me put this back on the whole DMA. There it is. So that's all of central Ohio right there. So the only warning right now is that one that's out there in Muskingum, Guernsey, Noble counties, a little bit of Morgan County. The other storms that are out there are still powerful storms, but they are not quite reaching the criteria for warnings. But I'll tell you what, you get under one of these, you're not going to miss it. You're going to know. Sarah says different Sarah. She's in her camper with the window open, listening to the storm. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little jealous.
I know. I was just thinking it must be nice.
Right? I'm a little jealous.
Let's just open this door.
Yeah.
The door, but somebody would be very upset with us. If
Yeah,
we did that.
because the
Yeah.
rain would blow in, and then we'd have a wet
Whatever
wet
is
weather
true.
center, and engineering would have something to say about that.
Oh my god.
What is the maroon rectangle? Oh, let's talk about that. So we talked about it earlier, but it's been a little while since we've done it. That's this. That's the flash flood warning. So the dark red that you see there. Hello, Brian at Right Pat. The dark red here is a flash flood warning. And what makes it different is that flash flooding means it's happening really fast. And that's usually because it's happening during a thunderstorm and maybe the hour and a half after the storm passes by, as the rain runs off very quickly and causes some immediate flooding. So a flash flood warning means it's happening right now and you've got water in the streets and you need to really be cautious while you're around, in some cases just avoiding the high water. Other flood watches and flood warnings are for large areas. And so the adjective for that is aerial, which is not like aerial as in like a plane, but like area. And that's more widespread flooding. So that's the difference. So what you have in the red, the maroonish color here, is a flash flood warning for parts of southern Madison County and down into a little bit of Fayette County and over into Greene County. And that is because you've had so much rain. But let me turn this on. See the other green that's happening there? There are multiple greens, I know. But this sort of medium green, that's a flood watch for an aerial flood watch that lasts until Sunday morning because there's been so much rain. The lighter green is the flood warnings for like individual rivers and individual streams. So like this is for the Scioto through Pickaway County, and this is the Scioto in Pike County, and then a little bit of the Hocking River here. And so individual rivers can have their own warnings based on how high they are. Some of these are expected to crest by about Sunday afternoon and evening, but if we get more rain all the way through Sunday, that might take a little bit longer. And so in all cases, we're gonna have to deal with the high water for a while yet. This is not done. Let me turn this lightning off and put this in motion again so you can see. You see the direction that all of this is going as it races off to the northeast. A lot of what you're seeing out this way from, say, Dayton down into parts of southern Indiana, that's on a track that's going to put it right up here into Delaware and Marion, Kenton, Ada, and then eventually Ashland,
So as
Wayne
of
and Knox
right
counties.
now, I can tell you the Scioto River in Circleville is in minor flooding.
So minor flooding for the side at Circleville,
It
which would,
looks like
so north of
several
town, up there by, what is that? Indian Road, Indian Lake Road, what is the road just north of, hang on, I could probably find it on the map. It's right north of Circleville, and it floods right there all the time. That's right here, just north of town. Island Road. They call it Island Road for a reason, right? So yeah, that whole area right there is like kind of
Hocking River
typical
at
flooding.
Enterprise. We were talking about this one yesterday. Hocking River at Enterprise, that area is also in a minor flood stage right now.
Hocking River to Enterprise. Yep.
So these are, I mean, they're not that far from the, are you talking at the Scioto River at Circleville? Runs along 22?
22, 23. Yep. They both go through there.
Okay.
23 headed south. And then 22 comes in from the east-west.
Those look like the biggest issues at the moment.
But look at all this rain for Bucyrus, Upper Sandusky, Marion, Kenton, all the way up into Findlay, Tiffin. How you feeling?
Good. Makeup's done.
Woohoo! She looks like Sarah now.
I know, I call it my second face. My second face is
Muskegon River at Beverly went to minor flooding as well.
So when we have a river that's in what they call minor flooding, it means that it's all the usual spots, right? So the places that flood relatively often, Marion County in Prospect, LaRue, every time it sprinkles, you know where it floods. Those areas are going to see lots of high water, as always. In Columbus, we've seen some very high water along the side, especially. We drove past the Lowhead Dam on Green Lawn earlier today, and the Lowhead Dam has almost disappeared. There are trees in the middle of the river. I don't know how. There's like a tiny little island right there, and I don't know how those trees survive because it's constantly flooded. But they do.
They're thirsty.
They're very
Thirsty
they're
trees.
quenched right now. So wow.
I bet their skin looks amazing.
It's dewy and soft. So all right. Hi, Mr. Jamie.
How are we doing, sir?
We're good. We're live.
Oh, on the Facebook.
We're on the Face Place.
Outstanding. Tell the Facebook I say hi.
Mr. Jamie says hello.
What are we
He's
thinking?
thrilled to see you.
Okay. Flash flood warning.
We have so basically where we are at the moment. Quick update.
Sure. Awesome.
We have torrential downpours lots of lightning and thunder, some
Okay.
significant hail,
Flooded roadways.
significant hail, and almost nothing in way of rotation. So
Good. Okay. Big hail, small hail,
Big
or
hail.
Big hail.
widespread hail.
like 1 inch to 2 inch
Oh,
hail,
wow.
like
Two
big hail.
golf ball size
Yeah.
hail
Oh my
reported so
gosh.
far. Yeah.
Yep.
Whereabouts?
Cheryl says hello.
Oh, hi, Cheryl.
Right.
Step into the frame.
The golf
rather
ball
not.
size
Okay.
hail
Is that
reports
Cheryl
that we had
Wilson?
was a little further west.
Yes.
Okay.
It was like
that's
West
my girl,
Ohio, right
Cheryl.
before it got to us, and then we had quarter size hail reports. Quarter and like, what did we say, nickel? Depending on
Quarter
how
and
big-
nickel size hail.
Depending on how big the guy's hand was. We
So
don't know.
this is part of the reason why when you send us hail pictures, and we appreciate you sending hail pictures because it's documenting what's happening out there.
Yeah.
But it's helpful to have some kind of perspective. Like, put it next to,
A quarter.
yeah, put it next to a quarter, a $50, a dime, something to give us an idea of, okay,
Even if you have a dollar bill, it
something.
something we can
Because
relate it to. Yeah.
your hand may be one size, but somebody else's hand is a different size, and we don't really know how big your hand is. So it's cool that you're holding it, but even better, some folks actually get out a ruler, and
Yeah,
that's
There
awesome.
you go.
That
I
is
had that.
really
That's
cool.
fantastic.
Also, try avoiding to describe it as marbles because there's different size marbles.
True story.
I learned that
Shooter.
a year or two ago.
If you can't hear her, Sarah said, avoid saying marble because there are so many different sizes of marbles, which is absolutely true. If you get one of the, what are they called, agates? What are the big ones that you the ones that you actually
The
when you're
shooter.
the shooters, those are
Oh,
bigger.
there's the
Yeah.
shooters and the I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Marshall, we don't know.
Nicole
We
is
didn't
working
grow up
to
at the
confirm
time of
71
marbles.
southbound closed
Wait,
north
before
of
me.
Cook. Hang on, you guys. This is important. This is an update. Nicole says they're working on confirming that 71 southbound is closed at Cook Road because of the high water. So that's going to be, it's coming down really hard right there right now.
Go and see.
So here's 71 at Weber right here. Cook Road's a little bit farther north, right up there, right there. So here's 71 at Cook right here. So this area, and you saw the heavy rain come through there just a little while ago. So we're working on confirming that, but
Okay.
it sounds like 71 at least southbound, maybe not both ways, but at least southbound may be closed because of the high water.
It looks like there's several road closures throughout the state.
What you got in Columbus?
Particularly to the south. I'm not.
Are you on Ogo?
Yeah, I'm on Ogo.
Are the reds closed? Is that what those are?
Oh, you know what? I think there's a camera. If nothing else, there's one by Crew Stadium, historic Crew Stadium.
I'll go.
There might be one farther up 71.
Let me just, can I do it where it's just road closures?
If you just click on cameras, and then you can turn off the other stuff. So turn off construction and incidents at the top.
Oh, okay.
And then you can see the cameras, and we can see if we can find a camera. Go up here into here. Okay, come down 71 a little bit. Where are we? Here's Weber Road. Pick one of these. Try this one right here. So there's 71 at North Broadway. There's one right there at Cook. Hit that one. What do you see? You got a big picture on that?
Let's make it large.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
closed.
Yep. So it looks like on the Ogo cameras that the police are diverting people off of 71 because of the water. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Nicole says it's confirmed closed. There's a crash.
Oh.
No
Oh.
reported injuries.
I'm seeing 220 closed in both directions. I'm seeing several.
Dawn, we're in Columbus, Ohio.
220 closed in both directions at River Road. I'm
Hang on, what you
familiar
got?
with
Go
that.
there.
There's several. 239 closed.
Yeah, those are not us.
73s, Okay.
315 south, there's a crash on 315 southbound. Click on that, see where that is. Go down.
Oh, right
Yeah. 315 south.
Oh, that's
That's the overturned.
That's the overturned tractor. It looks like they've made some progress on it.
Okay, so Olentangy River Road at 3rd looks like there's that overturned truck
Wow.
that they're trying to get righted, and
It looks like it
is
was a double
double trailer.
trailer in the back. Probably fishtailed.
Yeah. I mean, the roads are very wet. I mean, that was the thing that made it so difficult when I came in, was not only was I dealing with the hail core that came over me, but also the torrential rain where it
Yep.
reduced visibility
Hard to
like
see.
that. And then it was wet. Like, the roads were very much, like,
Yeah.
I was like, I had to, like, really hold my steering wheel just to keep me in my lane. But every so often I could feel like, every so often my eye, like, would shift a little bit. But it's a good thing I got new tires in the front.
Right, that helps.
I just got that yesterday.
Bree wants to know if Miamisburg and Springboro are in the clear. I'm going to say no on that because there's a whole lot of rain just to your west.
We still have a lot of rain.
There, I mean,
that's
let me
gonna-
here,
going to be
Bree,
moving.
take a look at what's out here. You see that? That's coming right for the Dayton area. So I'm going to go with no. You're not in the clear.
Okay, what do I need to
Very heavy rain north of the city. So from Delaware on over to Mount Vernon with a little bit of hail core. Tell you what, y'all got this, right? You need to go home.
Okay.
You've
I
been-
just want to make sure you're.
You've
good.
been
Yeah.
here all day.
I'm gonna literally change in
How
my.
are you feeling?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm ready to go. I just need to change in my dress, and then
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like waiting.
if you want me to take over the live stream, I can
Yeah.
take over. And
Why
then...
don't you do that?
Okay.
Do what you need to do first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get changed.
Go get changed.
Yeah, I was just gonna hang out until she got situated.
Yep. Is Lancaster in the clear for the night? No. Here's the thing, because everybody's going to start asking about their city. No, you are not in the clear. I don't care where you are. You are not in the clear. There's going to be more thunder, more lightning, more downpours. Will there be rotation? Less likely. But I wouldn't call anybody in the clear at this point. So, no, not in Etna. It's going to be. The good news is that our severe threat is getting lower and lower. It's not done, but the severe threat is getting lower and lower, which is good news for us
We're
for the
getting
night.
lots of reports of flooding.
Lots of reports of flooding.
Well, I say lots. I've seen two, but you can see they're starting to come in. Now,
Yeah.
A lot of these are to the west. Warren, Butler,
So Cincinnati area.
Cincinnati area, yeah. But that's how they tend to come in from west to east.
So Kelly is working really hard
Oh, this
to get
one's
somebody to say Walhonding.
We've got one in Franklin.
So,
Flood report in Franklin County.
and for where?
Brookville,
Brookville.
6 northwest Brookville in Franklin County.
Okay.
Let me Google this.
So where northwest of there's Walhonding. There you go.
Brookville, Ohio.
So there's Walhonding right on 206 and 715. Right there. That's the one. You're getting some pretty good rain right now. And actually, what's coming across 62 is kind of headed your direction. So as it comes by Newcastle, it's coming your way. In Walhonding. So there you go. But you see what's still coming in from the west. So we still have all of this out here. Most of this is just some really heavy rain. Not seeing much in the way of watches and warnings down the line there, other than for flooding. So that is some really good news. See this? So the red is the flash flooding, and that's a big deal by itself, but it's not severe thunderstorm warnings. So good news is that downstream here, we're not seeing much in the way of severe thunderstorms. So tell you what we're going to do. You are in excellent hands with Sarah. And as soon as she is TV ready, look at that.
TV.
That's TV's Sarah Converse right there.
Oh, where's the camera?
Angel wants to know about the rest of the weekend, real quick.
Oh.
So here's the deal. More storms are possible again tomorrow. And Jen is going to have all of that kind of fun for tomorrow evening.
Yeah. It shouldn't be an overnight event, and that's the good news.
Yes, it should be an
It'll
afternoon
be an
evening.
Afternoon evening.
Afternoon evening on Saturday.
So you will be awake for it.
We'll all be awake for that. And then Sunday is some really heavy rain. So, all right, you're in good hands. Jen and I are gonna call it a day. Jen's been at it since noon today.
I took a nap. I went home.
She went home, took a nap.
I took a nap.
I've been at it since noon today.
Well, I feel like I've been at it since Sunday.
Well, that, yes. Yes. So, I'll tell you what. Why don't I get out of your way?
Okay.
Sarah's going to take over the live stream. And I'm going to sign out of that computer and get out of your way.
Okay.
So that you can get in there. Did you, by the way, sorry, quick, we're having a team meeting, just so you know. Did you see the new desk?
Oh. Okay. Nice.
So, new desk.
I like it.
To help our friends at Good Day Columbus.
Yes.
I need to shift over here.
Yep.
So, before I fall down,
Be careful.
everybody have a good night.
Bye.
Stay weather aware. Sarah's going to keep going here.
Yep.
Jen is going to head out. She'll be with you tomorrow night. And, yeah, bye.
Yeah, get out of here.
Let me
Get
sign
some
out of
sleep.
this computer, and then Sarah can take over.
You want some cookie chocolate things?
Ooh.
I'll leave them here, and then when
Okay.
if you want to put them in my little
Your little
basket.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Awesome.
Take
Hello.
Whatever you want of them.
Perfect.
Okay. I will not see either of you tomorrow, but I will be in touch.
Get some rest.
See
Drive
ya.
safe. Hello, good morning. Let me pull up the live stream on my phone so I can answer questions too.
Yeah. Get rid of this.
Let's see. I might be a little behind on some comments, so I do apologize. Because I know my phone tends to... I don't know what it is about my phone that...
I'm going to give you... Here's mic 2.
Okay.
Or do you want me to put it on the charger?
Put it on the charger since it's been
A while.
a while. Yeah, especially since I'm going to be using that for the show.
Yep. There's
'Cause-
a
'cause
fresh IFB battery here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because last time my mic died on me, like, during the 8 hour, and they were, like, yelling at me, your mic's off, your mic's off. I'm like, I don't never turn my mic off.
Never turned it off.
Don't tell me that my mic is off. It's dead. Just always assume if you can't hear me, it's dead.
The battery. So, Good Day Columbus goes on for a long time.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of batteries to make that happen.
It does. But hello. Okay, we got some people in. Don, hi Don. Rob, hello. And Cheryl, yep, all settled in. Makeup's on, hair's done. Of course, I thought it could beat the worst of the storm coming in. I was completely wrong. All I gotta say is these storms have had a history of producing some very large hail and the torrential rain, and then that just reduces visibility like like that.
These are for real.
These are for real, and especially since it's overnight, it's dark. Now you're dealing with it being dark out, and it's coming down at a
I'm going
high
to close
clip.
this workspace.
Yeah, go ahead, do that. Looks like that warning over in Morgan County's
That expired.
that expired. So I'm gonna probably keep this going at least while there's not any severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment. I'll probably keep this going for another, I would say probably just for safe, 15, 20 minutes usually when I start putting my forecast together. So I can look at that. Hello, Courtney's in, hello.
Jesus.
What's wrong?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, sounds good. Amanda, I know, it was probably the worst I've ever driven in. I mean, and that's coming from someone who's dealt with torrential, like, downpours, like, in Florida thunderstorms. Like, this was
Tropical stuff.
tropical stuff. It was not even just even the winds. It was the fact that it just visibility was like, I could see the road, I could see the car in front of me, and then all of a sudden, I didn't see anything. And I'm just like, I just pray that I'm in my lane and just thankful that it's overnight because there's no one on the roads, very little people on the road. And then there was hail. I was running into some hail, and it definitely was more than pea size. So it'll be interesting to see once the show is over this morning whether or not I have any dents on my car.
Do you need anything?
No.
Are you okay getting your show together?
Yes. I mean, if there's no severe thunderstorm warnings, I'll probably end the live stream here in the next, usually when I start putting it together, usually I get in by 2:15,
Okay.
no later than 2:30.
I don't want to leave you, pardon the pun, high and dry. But
No. I mean, these storms they haven't been producing rotation anyway.
Yeah.
So that's good. It really looks like most of it now is just the flash flood concern going forward with these storms, especially now a lot of the storms right now are in the northern portion of the state at the moment. So yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm going to keep this going
Awesome.
for a little while.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Get some rest. Drive
everybody.
safe. Okay, let's see who else is in. Rhonda, Pamela, hey. Angela, you're from Florida too? Yeah, I'm from more like the Tampa area. That's where my family's originally from. Oh yes, I have had my fair share of some intense storms, and they happen super fast. So if you're just tuning in or even watching for the 2 hours 2 hours that Marshall's been doing this. Kudos to Marshall for talking for 2 hours with you all. Hello, I'm taking things over since it's now my start of the shift. Yes, I do start my day usually at 2 a.m. for a Good Day Columbus. But I want to keep this live stream going for another 15 to 20 minutes just because these storms have been capable of producing some torrential, like really heavy rain. They've had a history of hail. The good news is we're not seeing any severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment. But these red polygons that you see here that are parts of northern Fayette and in Madison County, this is a flash flood warning because of the rain that came through earlier. And we've gotten reports of some road closures, of some flooded roadways. So this is something that we're going to have to contend with through the overnight hours. And we're not done yet in terms of rain in the area. So we still have all this rain that's coming right now. I'll put this in motion for you guys. You get all this rain still out of Indiana that's going to eventually track into the area. But at least the good news is we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment. The one that was left was in Morgan County. That was allowed to expire. But in terms of any impacts from these thunderstorms, we're not done yet, for anyone who is curious. But we are still looking at a flood potential as our flood watch goes still into effect until Sunday morning. So let's see, look at one over here, one little cell over here by Cambridge and Rich Hill. This one's still producing some hail there, at least not severe size hail, which would be quarter size, so 1 inch in diameter, but still enough that you'll probably hear it on your rooftop. So that's over near Byesville. Oh yeah, Vicky, this week's comforting sound is a sump pump, and hopefully everyone's sump pump is working, because there's definitely going to be some issues there. If it's not working, you'll find out soon enough if it's not working in your basement. Cheryl, my backyard is flooded with the creek, no electricity went off. Courtney, I had that happen a while back with the snow. Couldn't tell where the road began and ended. Just let my passenger side tires find the rumble strips and followed those. That's smart, Courtney. Every so often I could see the lines, but it was very hard, and I kind of used, there was a car in front of me that I was kind of using in the other lane, the next lane beside me. And so I was using that car in front of me as a guidance to where I was in my lane. Now, it could have been, he could have not been in his lane. That could have been the case, but at least there was no other cars around me, so I felt okay. And at least I could see him or her. I don't know who was driving the car, but someone was driving at 1 o'clock in the morning with me. So we do have some heavy rain that continues for places like Coshocton, down through Mount Vernon, just outside of Mount Gilead, near Centerburg, and then Marion, definitely some steady rain, and then to Marysville. So right now, still have quite a bit of rain and lightning. These are lightning producers, so we got a decent lightning show, definitely loud thunderstorms rolling through the area. But in terms of any warnings per se, at least imminent warnings that we need to keep an eye on, is this flash flood warning that remains in effect for another hour. But again, more rain is heading our way. And we had a report earlier that Jen was mentioning that near the Ohio State campus, there was a report of a little over an inch of rainfall in just about 30 minutes. So that is definitely some high rain rates within these thunderstorms. So that's what's causing a lot of issues in terms of flash flooding. So flash flooding is happening immediate in that area at the moment that there is flooding occurring in that region. Let's see who else is in. Oh, you're from Pasco, Angel? Okay, so you might know actually where exactly. You probably know if you're still on, Angel, you probably know Citrus County. I know that's the problem. Yes, I'm not Marshall, y'all. Unfortunately, for me to keep the live stream going, I have to stay on the live stream that Marshall, this is still his show. So, yes, I am not Marshall McPeak at any means. But this is the only way to keep the live stream live and running, is to still keep it on here. I cannot change, unfortunately, the text on here. So, just know, no, I'm clearly not Marshall. I am Sarah. But, okay. Let's see, who else is it? Storming in Cambridge. Yeah, and you have lots of lightning with this cell in Cambridge. And I was just looking at it earlier. There was some hail being reported out of this cell right here. So you're probably going to get some at least under an inch in diameter size hail, because it's not severe. But lots of lightning heading into Cambridge, waking you up this morning. So for you in London, you're still not out of the woods in terms of rain. We still have all this rain still climbing into the area. So really the one thing that we're going to be watching for London is just that excessive rainfall and all this rain and thunderstorms that are still working their way through the area. The good news is we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, so that is good that we don't have any of that. But these thunderstorms are still prolific lightning producers. They're also producing some very heavy rain, so flash flooding definitely a concern here for the rest of this morning. Oh, Ruth from the center is watching. Oh, Ruth, hi, Ruth. Angel, oh yeah, I grew up in that area, born in Newport Richey, raised in Hudson, Florida. Okay, yeah, you're definitely nearby the Citrus County area. Many people don't know Citrus County, Florida, unless they live in the Tampa area. Usually I always have to say Tampa because people don't know where Citrus County is. Denell and Crystal River. Carla, no, that's been the good thing that Marshall has been tracking, and Jen too before I came in, was that a lot of these thunderstorms, the good news, were not producing rotation, but they still stuck here, stayed behind, and Marshall was doing this live stream for almost 2 hours because it's always best to be safe. It only just takes a little bit of rotation that one storm decides to misbehave, and so we always like to have at least a meteorologist here on staff whenever we have kind of inclement weather, even if it's just severe thunderstorm warnings, just to make sure that things are behaving. But one thing these thunderstorms have had a history of producing, and it looks like, at least in terms of what I'm seeing on radar while I take the lightning off, We're still producing a little bit of hail over in Cambridge. We've had a couple pockets here and there, but earlier ago, especially in the London area, just outside of London, these were prolific lightning producers. We've had hail reports from Westerville. We've had a couple other areas reporting some large hail. So that was one thing that I think at one point, what Marshall was telling me was it was rated for 3-inch size hailstones, and then by the time I got into Madison and Fayette County, it was closer to 2 inches, and then 1.5 inches by the time it got closer into Franklin County. That's still quite a bit in terms of size that can cause damage. Again, I ran into one of those hail cores when I came in because I wanted to come in early, tried to beat the storm, but I didn't. So that was an experience. So I would be very shocked if I didn't see at least maybe a small dent on my car, just because it was coming down at a good clip. So right now the concern going forward is for any other lone stronger storm in terms of gusty winds and also hail, and then again that heavy rainfall threat. Let me see if I can find where Marshall has. So here's all the flood watches and advisories. So this dark green shade here, so this green here, that's our main flood watch that went into effect Wednesday night, and it's still going to be in effect until Sunday morning. So this is just that aerial flood watch, just to show that this all of Ohio is going to be experiencing quite a bit of rainfall. And then this bright green shade, this is again for a lot of the rivers that we have in the area. So this is what those are for. And then of course the red is going to be, the dark red is going to be that flash flood warning, and that's for areas reporting flooded roadways, and that it's happening very fast just because our moisture is very, very saturated. Let's see who else is in. Let me see if I can pull up satellite and radar real quick, just so everyone can kind of see. This is the big picture right here. So we got all this rain that's still working its way through the area. So a lot of this is going to be impacting the early morning hours. So just before, you know, everyone starts going on with their day, there still is going to be pretty wet conditions on tap for us. And more rain showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast as we get into later tonight and into tomorrow. Which once I wrap up this live stream, I'm gonna go through the forecast and and then we'll start the show at 5 o'clock in the morning if you're already up, or you'll try to go back to sleep once these rain showers and thunderstorms roll in. Hey, Aaron. Yes, so you have definitely quite a bit of some heavy rain working their way through Mount Vernon at the moment, and still quite a bit of lightning. Marysville, lots of lightning for you. And then over in just outside of Coshocton. So this is where pretty much the heavy rain is, and over and all the lightning is at. Columbus, we could definitely have a little bit of a break at the moment, but from pretty much just northwest of Coshocton through Mount Vernon, Mount Gilead, Marion, Marysville, down through North Lewisburg, we have quite a bit of lightning still being reported here. And then also, can't forget Cambridge too. Cambridge has a decent thunderstorm over by you. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings, but they're still strong, especially this one over in Cambridge. This one, lots of lightning. Let me see how many lightning strikes this one's doing. 66. That's a decent amount in terms of just one thunderstorm there. Well, I know they've been here for a very long time. Marshall and Jennifer both were here at noon. Yeah, Angel, absolutely. And then Aaron, you spent some time in Tarpon Springs, nice. Okay, we're gonna keep this. We're probably gonna go maybe another 5 more minutes. And then I'm gonna wrap up this live stream. I'm just watching this storm over in Cambridge. That's the one right now that it's pretty impressive. Let me take the lightning off, see if there's any hail core. A little bit of hail. It's a little bit of hail with that one. So yeah, I'm gonna give it another 5 more minutes, and then we'll wrap up this live stream. Now that we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings in the area, so then I can get this forecast going for the show this morning, later this morning, since my day is just started. So yeah, quite a bit of heavy rain again, right through to the north of Coshocton, Mount Vernon, Mount Gilead, Marysville, and Marion right now. In Bucyrus, definitely some steady rain by you. So that's Clark. Yeah, Brittany, you have a lot of lightning over in Marysville. This is gonna keep you up. Sounds good, Angel. Nice meeting you. Hopefully you can get some rest. I'm sorry, Cheryl. So yeah, so this is all pretty much, we still have a little bit more rain that's coming our way, especially in this general direction. And eventually this is all going to be tracking eastward as this gets pushed through. So we're still going to be dealing with these thunderstorms for the next couple hours. So that's why there's definitely a concern. You can see all these red polygons through Indianapolis. We'll have to watch and see if any of these continue to fill in as these thunderstorms continue to train through the area. But there you can see all these, like, look at this, all this from this line here. So that is going to be one thing that going forward, that in the morning for me, I'm going to have to watch out and see how many, if we expand some of these flash flood warnings further to the northeast with this, well, all these training thunderstorms. Because right now they're all constantly going up into the Marysville area and up into just north of Delaware. But eventually this line is going to be pushed to the east, but all of it's right now tracking to the northeast. Ooh. Car alarms are going off because of the thunder and lightning. Oof. More people are going to be rudely awakened this morning if they're already not up like all of you all. Courtney, gonna try to get some sleep. Gotta get up around 6:30. Busy day tomorrow. I'm gonna be whipped. I'm too old for all this all-nighter thing these days. Oh no! Well, Courtney, get some rest. At least though, in terms of any severe thunderstorms, I'm still gonna keep an eye on that. But right now, it looks like the threat going forward is more going to be flash flooding concern with all this training thunderstorms moving through the area. So try to get some sleep. Hopefully, these thunderstorms don't keep you up too long. Crystal, driving overnight for Amazon, big, huge box truck. Will the storms get pretty rough in the region? I think the biggest thing in terms of right now going forward is going to be the roads are very wet. And depending on where you're driving around, if you're going to be around Columbus, right now things are okay, but eventually this line here is going to be propagating to the east. So we'll start to see the rain pick up eventually later this morning. So really the one thing that you're going to have to be aware of, that the roads are going to be very wet. So just be careful on those roadways. There's a lot of ponding. That was something that I ran into a lot when I came into work, was a lot of ponding on the roadways. So that's a big thing that you're going to be watching out for. And any kind of thunderstorm that's still around that runs its way through the area, then the visibility is going to drop. So that's right now the biggest concern for the rest of the morning. Because right now it looks like we don't have any severe thunderstorms here at the moment, which is a good sign. But these thunderstorms are still capable of producing, heavy rain, adding on to all this moisture that we've been dealing with the past, 2-3 hours. Hello.
Did they take off?
Yeah, they took off. Because
Okay.
we don't have one. I'm ready to go if I need to go on air.
Okay.
The good news is no severe all the severe thunderstorm warnings are over. All we have now is just flash flood warnings, and just a lot of lightning and rain with these cells.
Yeah, the lightning is going crazy.
Especially over in Cambridge. Right now, Cambridge is dealing with a decent cell at the moment. That's definitely going to be waking people up.
It's moving pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah. So.
But it's just like a train. Just keeps running the same path. Like these guys are just getting hit for 3 hours.
And that's what I was telling the viewers, is that the biggest concern now is that with these training thunderstorms in this area, we'll have to watch and see if these flash flood warnings get extended further northeast. Otherwise, eventually this line will start to propagate to the east, but a lot of these storms are training through parts of Marysville and to the northeast, right parallel along I-71. So, because right now Columbus is fine, we're just having a lot. You can just, if you look outside to the north or to the west, it's just a decent lightning show. You're kind of surrounded by all that.
All
So
right.
yeah, so I
All right,
think.
I'm going to go check in with the newsroom, see what
Okay.
they're thinking.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, in terms of, again, I think the biggest thing going forward now is going to be flash flood warning. I'm probably going to hop off this live stream here very soon,
Okay.
just because we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, and I need to get this forecast put together
Yes,
and build
yes,
my
yes.
show
Okay.
for the Good Day Columbus. So
All right, I'll
yeah.
touch base. I certainly won't leave without setting everything up and making sure you're good. But
I appreciate it.
I'm just going to check, see what the
Yeah,
newsroom
absolutely.
Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
I'll be out of the control room for like 5 minutes. So
That's fine.
If you need something, yell up there.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Let's see, who else is in? Cody, you're in Richland County, so you're up here, I believe. Richland is up here, I believe, more northern county. I don't have. Let me double check. Because that Richland County is technically not in our DMA. But let me double check. I believe that's. Richland County is more northern county because that's Mansfield. Yeah, that's Mansfield. That's what I thought. Right now for you, Cody, it's just lots of steady rain, and you're going to start to get some, if you haven't heard it already, rumbles of thunder. So we have these thunderstorms here that are tracking off to the northeast, so you'll definitely get some lightning out of these storms and definitely some heavy rain. So up in Richland County. So that's what we're watching for right now. Of course, Courtney, hopefully get some rest and have a good day, good rest of your day in terms of once you wake up. Yes, absolutely, Cheryl. Sounds good, Michael. Get some rest. Hopefully everyone can try to get some rest. And I know one person I thought was really interesting, the sump pumps. Hopefully that you can still hear those working, because that's going to be something that is a concern going forward. And I'll be here for the rest of the morning, so if something pops up, if something happens, and then we get another severe thunderstorm warning, I will let you all know. I'll be doing another live stream. I'll be posting on Facebook. Ooh, this is cool. Y'all want to see? That's definitely what it looks like. So, here's something a little bit nerdy. So, sometimes with thunderstorms, they produce an outflow boundary, and sometimes you can see it on radar. So this little line you see going out right there, it's actually an outflow boundary. Really cool. And sometimes those outflow boundaries can potentially produce other thunderstorms, especially if other outflow boundaries collide. That provides lift. Oh, I know, Aaron. I know Wednesday, let's see, how late was I up? I think I was up pretty much the whole event. I was up till like 3 a.m. Brittany, sounds good. Thank you. And get some rest. Hopefully you can get some sleep. I know you're definitely going to be dealing with a lot of these thunderstorms for a little bit while longer. And then just the rain. Yeah, for the next few hours, at least for right now, especially for you up in Richland County, I think it's good. You're safe to just rest for a little bit, relax. You'll get some rumbles of thunder, you'll get some lightning out of this, but we haven't had, oh, there we go. There's this, I was figuring this storm. Right now, this storm over here by Cambridge was the only one that I was most impressed about. So now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning, so we're going to stick on for a little bit longer. So we do have this severe thunderstorm warning that is in place for Belmont, Guernsey, Harrison, and Noble County. This is until 3:15. This is producing quarter-size hailstones, gusty winds. This has been really the only cell that I was actually most interested in terms of, it looked like it was producing more stronger severe storm size conditions with this, with lots of lightning. So again, this is just outside of Cambridge. Let's see, let me zoom in a little bit closer. So it's over by Wills. What is that? At one point it said Old Washington. So it's just outside of Barnesville, Fairview, Morrisontown, Flushing, Freeport. You're going to be dealing with this. Again, this is until 3:15. Let me get some more information on this real quick. It's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Okay. Let me put a tracker on this. So it's this cell right here. I'm going to push it off to the northeast. So with that, we're looking at a time frame around 2:28 for Kirkwood, Flushing 2:39, Wheeling 2:47, and then it looks like it's starting to get clipping parts of West Virginia. They're getting out of the state. Smithfield 3:05, Wells 3:13, Steubenville, yeah, that's West Virginia. Steubenville, getting to West Virginia. Steubenville 3:21. So this is what we're looking at. This is just the one cell at the moment that we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for. And this is until 3:15. While I have this up, I might as well just start multitasking. So right now, that's the only severe thunderstorm warning we have on the board. Again, that's for Belmont, Guernsey, Harrison, and Noble until 3:15. The rest of the line is mainly just prolific lightning producers. I'll have to keep an eye on the one cell over by northern Marysville. That's the only other one that's producing quite a bit of lightning. And maybe on more of the stronger side in terms of that thunderstorm over there, but the rest of the regions, the one concern is all these training thunderstorms where these thunderstorms are just running through these same areas over and over again. So we're looking at flooding concerns within this band here until this eventually all starts to propagate to the east. But all these storms right now are moving northeast. Again, we do have that one thunderstorm there. And the only other warnings we have besides the one over in Guernsey and Noble County is these flash flood warnings here. But all these thunderstorms over by, let's see, it's kind of stretches from Urbana, just outside of Springfield, Ohio. You just got some lightning, a little bit of lightning, some rumbles of thunder, some pockets of some moderate to heavy rain. This is all stretching from Springfield through Urbana, outside of Bellefontaine near Valley High, and then northern Marysville, Magnetic Springs, Prospect, Marion, Mount Gilead, Fredericktown, and then through Mount Vernon, and then Millersburg. And then, of course, just this one cell over here that's severe, which would be wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-size hailstones. And then we have some remaining flash flood warnings over in southern Madison and over in Washington Courthouse. And those are going to be in effect until 3. So in the next 30 minutes, those should expire. So if you work an overnight shift, this is something that you're going to have to contend with in terms of any pockets of heavy rain. Got a little bit of lightning that just popped up just outside of Lancaster. Got this little cell right there. Let's see, who else is in? Of course, Lori, and thanks for tuning in to the live stream, watching Marshall and Jen. They've had some very long, busy days. I mean, Marshall was on this live stream for almost 2 hours with you all, so he just bounced out of here about, what was it, half hour ago with Jen, because they've had a long day. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning over in Belmont, Guernsey, Harrison, Noble counties, moving to the northeast about 40 miles per hour. It's producing a lot of lightning within it, and quarter-size hailstones. These storms have had a history of producing very large hail, so that's something we're going to have to watch out for any stronger storms along this line. It's going to be that threat. So just looking at Futurecast, once this line moves out, we'll get a little bit of a break, but keep those umbrellas handy because more rain showers and thunderstorms are expected later in the afternoon, especially after noon, 1 p.m. So we're not done yet in terms of rain. Kind of just multitasking here a little bit. Yeah, so this cell outside of Lancaster just fired up. I'll keep an eye on that one. Just outside, just to the east of Asheville. Oh, there's what they're saying about Sunday into Monday. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting to see that. Yes, so we will continue to have rain. So there'll be the chance for more rain heading into Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. But then if you were on earlier, there was the S word that did pop up, which we'll talk about later this morning. But yes, we are looking at some colder air to move in, and there is a possibility that we could see some snowflakes heading into Sunday night and into Monday. So that will be, but technically that would potentially be the third snow after the forsythia bloomed. So that's one positive way to kind of look at it. And then we'll finally get a bit of a break from this very wet pattern. So that's good. Okay. Let me go back to this one cell here over just now. It's outside of Cambridge. So this is over by Fairview and Morrisontown, Londonderry, and Flushing. So again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for Belmont, Guernsey, Harrison, and Noble County. Though for Noble County, it's already starting to get out. I mean, it was just this little corner here that it had of Noble County. And it's starting to get out of Guernsey, so that's good. So it's eventually getting out of the viewing area, heading into to the northeast. But we're still not out of the woods just yet in terms of flood threats, at least flash flooding, just because of all this rain that's training through the area. So I'm gonna keep the live stream going just for a little bit longer while we still have this severe thunderstorm warning. I've been kind of multitasking, trying to build my show while I've been talking to you all and watching radar, since I gotta get things set for the shows this morning. So we start things off 4:45. Update my 7-day, at least take this. Let's see, what's this? Yes, so we do have some thunderstorms that are about to clip parts of northwest Madison County, even a few more that's kind of developed ahead of that. Penny says back roads near Hoover Reservoir, such as Red Bank Road. There are several patches of literally flowing water. Be careful out there. The way definitely ponding and water flowing across the road. Yes. So as we always, you probably have heard the saying, turn around, don't drown. You do not want to drive into flooded roadways. Please do not do that. Even if you look like, let's say, your car's a little bit higher up, you think you can get through it, don't even chance it. Just because you may not know how much water is actually there. There could be debris in that area, so you don't want to drive into flooded roadways. Never do that. Definitely make sure you take an alternate route. But that's something right now in terms of our northern counties, again from Miller's, it's like right now into Mount Vernon, that's starting to head up into Mansfield, Mount Gilead, Marion, and then parts of Marysville, dealing with a lot of this, a lot of these prolific lightning producing storms and just training thunderstorms. And then we just had this little cell just outside of Lancaster that just developed too. That's producing some heavy rain at the moment. And then so all in all, right now, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning over in Belmont, Guernsey, Harrison, and Noble County. Though in Noble County, it's already out of that county. Guernsey, you still have a little bit in far east Guernsey that we still have the storm still impacting you. Once it gets out of Guernsey, it'll be impacting those northeastern counties. Yes, once this initial line kind of moves up into northeast, Aaron, you'll get a little bit of a break, but then just watching out for all of this, eventually that's going to start propagating to the east. So while you'll get a little bit of a break, there's still rain showers and thunderstorms that are going to be heading in your direction for the rest of the morning. So as you can see, this is all kind of eventually going to be drifting off to the east. Yeah, Judy, the thunder is unreal in these areas that are dealing with these thunderstorms, especially from Marion through Marysville, North Lewisburg. I mean, it is prolific lightning, lots of thunder within that. And then just outside of Lancaster, that may give people a rude early morning wake-up call. Hello.
Hey. All right, I just want to check this out.
Okay, cool.
Make sure we're good.
Perfect, thank you.
Good. And then you hit the weather button.
Yes.
Full, right?
Yep. It should switch over to here.
There you go. And then when you walk over, I just want to check, make sure. Excellent.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah, you can pass out of here as long as it's
I just talked to Nicole. I said I checked with them, checked with you. Mic 2's open.
perfect.
So that's set.
Awesome.
That's the one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I will black those out. Yeah, best of luck. I hope things aren't too crazy.
No, we just had like one severe thunderstorm warning over in Guernsey, but that's starting to move out.
Okay.
So just keeping an eye on any more severe thunderstorm warnings, and then just the flash flood that Kevin started to really talk about, like just rain and the area.
Okay. I will give them a heads up that you're set to go. And if you need anything, give them a shout.
That sounds good. Thank
Have a
you.
great night. Morning, man.
Yeah. Okay, sorry y'all. We're trying to get things set up just in case I need to cut in on programming. I don't anticipate it, but rather be safe, making sure that we have the tools to get on air if needed. But yes, okay, let me see. Once the severe thunderstorm warning, so they just took out Noble. I figured they'd eventually shave that off. Once we get Guernsey out, I'm probably going to wrap up this live stream just so that I can get my forecast going. I've been trying to like multitask here. But I'll be posting radar updates on my page too as well, on my page too. So you can go over to Meteorologist Sarah Converse. I'll be keeping an eye on these storms. If I need to cut into programming, if I need to do another live stream, once I get things kind of situated in terms of putting my forecast together, I will do so. Hello, Nicole.
Hi.
Hi, we're going to be wrapping up this live stream very soon.
Okay.
Just right now, the only thing I have on my board is the severe thunderstorm warning that's just about to get out of Guernsey County. Once it's out of Guernsey County, the only thing left in terms of keeping an eye on is any flooding concerns, because all these thunderstorms are basically training through the area, through parts of Marion and Marysville. So that's going to be the watching to see if any flash flood warnings get expanded out to the northeast along this little band here. So
for morning show, we should be looking at, or for GDC, we should be looking at
any flood.
in northern part of our DMA.
Yes. And we'll still get this line. We'll get, right now, while Columbus has a break at the moment, this line will eventually start propagating to the east. So we'll see the rain eventually pick up later in the morning. But at that point, it should stay as just rain. But if there's any concern of like rain, like causing any flooding concerns around Columbus, we could potentially see that just because of all the stuff we've had early on in the morning. I mean, the roads when I came in were there was a lot of ponding. So, and then someone said that Red Bank Road, and I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right. Here you can read it. Gorsuch Road by the Hoover Reservoir. There are several patches of literally flowing water in the back roads.
Okay.
So that's somewhere we can potentially check out.
Chrissy and I can check on that.
Okay. But that's what Penny said. It was over by the back roads near the Hoover Reservoirs. Flowing water on the roadways. So, once they shave off this Guernsey County, we'll wrap up this live stream. And it's basically, at this rate, it's basically out of Guernsey County. Okay. So I'm just going to do an overall look at everything, and then we're going to wrap up this live stream so I can get things put together for the show this morning. So right now we do have, again, these flash flood warnings that were issued earlier on this morning due to those storms that came through the area. Those are going to eventually expire here in the next 15 minutes. The one severe thunderstorm warning that we do have that's over in Belmont, Guernsey, and Harrison County. Guernsey will eventually be shaved off of this. It's basically out of the county. This is until 3:15. Gusty winds, large hail up to quarter size. We do have a little cell over by Lancaster, not severe, but producing some lightning and some heavy downpours. And then from New Philadelphia up through just north of Coshocton, south of Mansfield, Mount Gilead, Marion, Marysville, Bellefontaine, North Lewisburg. We do have some steady rain falling at the moment, but eventually you can start to see this line out to the west over by Dayton. This is slowly starting to shift to the east. So while Columbus, we have a bit of a lull in the activity, eventually this line will be moving into our area later this morning. So that's going to be something I'll be watching for as we get here in the next 2 to 3 hours. So just watching out for any flooded roadways or any potentially any flash flood warnings that get extended into the area, because expanding outward, you can see this band stretching down into southern Indiana, where we do have a lot of these flash flood warnings in place. Hello.
Okay.
So there is that. Okay, I'm gonna see if there's any more questions, and then we'll wrap up this live stream. But of course, if there's any updates, I'll be posting, and then if I need to do another live stream, I can do that. But at least the one storm that I was watching for that seemed like it was most concerning was this one over by, that came through parts of Cambridge, but that's starting to move out of the area. Yeah, that's basically out of Guernsey. So I'll just keep an eye on any other severe thunderstorm warnings, but we're going to wrap up this live stream. Again, in terms of our threats, the one thing going forward is the fact that we're going to be watching for any flash flooding concerns with a lot of these training thunderstorms rolling through the area. Soils are very saturated from all the rain we've had the past couple days, so runoff could cause for flash flooding to happen in areas that are prone to flooding, low-lying areas. And again, we do have the flash flood watch that continues for the region. Let me pull that up. So you have all this dark green shade is all the flash flood. I feel like there's something here over Marysville in Delaware. This looks like a flood advisory, but it's not showing up. No, I want the flood advisory. Let me see. There we go. Yes, this is the flood advisory. So Columbus, Delaware, Union County. So Union, Delaware, Franklin, and Madison County are under a flood advisory from all this rain that we've experienced. This is until 5:15 for this morning. So we've had, let's see. So yeah, minor flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly in this advisory area. This was issued about 10 minutes ago. Between 1 to 2 inches of rainfall has fallen, and expecting another potential inch of rainfall as the system goes through. So this is something that potentially some minor flooding concerns, and again, let's see, was it Penny that said that? Penny said something about the fact that over in the back roads, by the reservoir, there is some flowing water on the roadways, and I ran into a lot of ponding too on my way into work. So this is going to be something, again, this is until 5:15 for this flood advisory for parts of Logan, Union, Delaware, Franklin, and parts of Madison County. Again, 5:15. What's central Madison County? What's that? Until 3:30. So that's still 3:30. But north of London, northern Madison County, that's until 5:15. Okay. Alrighty. Ooh, that thunderstorm right there did pick up quite a bit over by Lancaster. Okay, yeah, so they just pulled the Guernsey County out, so just Belmont and Harrison. So I'm going to wrap up this live stream. Again, I'll be posting more updates on my page and on here if needed, if any other alerts show up. Again, right now the concern going forward is just all this heavy rain coming through the area. Again, flood advisory for Delaware, Union, Madison, and Franklin County. Flash flood warnings that continue for another 10 more minutes for parts of Madison and Fayette County. So just be mindful if you're going to be out driving overnight or early this morning. You'll be potentially running into a lot of ponding on the roadways, potentially in low-lying areas, some minor flooding. So you want to avoid those areas and do not drive in those. Turn around, don't drown. That's a saying that we like to say whenever we deal with any flood threats. So thanks again, everyone, for staying up with me. Try to get some sleep, and I'll continue to keep an eye on storms as this line eventually works its way through the area. Have a great night and stay dry out there. Bye. Have a great night.